took over the bank as soon as the judge was murdered.
But I think that's because when you make tough decisions, you're left to deal with the repercussions.
Seriously, dear, I've done so many of these shows across the nation, helped so many people, and guided them to my website. And
look at this.
What is this, a joke program? I mean, what type of a program are you running here?
Here comes the ball.
Go, go, go.
Did you hear that hair?
Be hungry. First on Fox Sports.
New York!
Morning radio personality Bill Keeler is no longer on the air. He was fired yesterday over a contract.
Father O'Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Great Paul, well in Lynchburg, Virginia. How are you?
Good morning. Go to hell!
Free your mind.
Well, what a weekend. And what a day today. It's going to be really nice today. So, this, I'm going to tell you, I'll talk about this RSV thing I've been dealing with. Just when you think you're getting better, all of a sudden you get hit again. We didn't go anywhere this weekend. And somewhere along the line, I plugged up my ears. So, if you talk to me, Davey, I may not be able to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Huh?
Okay.
Okay. Luckily, I'm wearing headphones. So, the other thing is they give you the prednisone, which is a steroid.
I've been on prednisone before.
And it says you'll gain weight. That's because all you want to do is eat. It's unbelievable. It really kicks in the appetite.
My first bout with the C word, they gave me prednisone.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
And I bloomed up real. I was
you put a lot of weight on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm on the way off of it. Okay, so you were there last night. What a game. I saw both games, Friday and Sunday. And, wow. And it's funny because Hamilton went down 1-0.
Yeah.
Hobart scored right away in the first period.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, wow, okay, here we go. And really the first period kind of belonged to Hobart. But I got to tell you, that Reed, the goalie, was phenomenal. I think he was
on his head.
Unbelievable. He actually was the player of the series, I think.
He's only a junior.
Holy cow, was he good. And was he good in the overtime period?
Sure was.
And even in the third period.
Even the Hobart goalie was good, too.
Oh, they both were really good. But I think that Hobart outshot Hamilton like 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
And in the third period, it was just shot after shot in the overtime period. And that goalie Reed was just so good. And then the shot, I was saying to my wife, she said Hobart's really dominating here. And I said, but all it takes is one shot. And that's exactly what happened. And Hamilton becomes national champions.
Yeah, that's really, really awesome. That's off.
And it was a great it was a pass behind the back and the shot in. If you had a chance to see it, it was really spectacular. So an enormous congratulations going out to everybody over in Clinton and Hamilton College. They are D3 national champions, and they did it basically on home ice in front of a full auditorium.
Oh, yeah, the Odd was was rocking yesterday.
Well, the beauty is it was an all-New York final. You had Hobart, which is in Geneva, And, of course, Hamilton, which is just 7-8 miles away from the odd. So, and the students were all back. Friday, the students were on break.
Yep.
But they had all come back over the weekend. So that odd was just packed.
And then the Clinton Fire Department gave them a welcome home championship salute,
Like an
all the way,
escort. Yeah.
all the way up the hill, up to the campus.
Nice.
To the college.
Yeah, that was just enormous.
Yeah, that and Hobart, man, how heartbreaking is that to go undefeated all season
I
and
think
jump out in front early in the championship game?
I heard one stat that they were like 43. They had like a 43-0 win streak going.
Yeah, they won the championship last year.
They won it last year in overtime against the Pioneers, and I think they were undefeated last year. I could be wrong, but But you know what? At some point, a team has to lose. They had won the national championship 3 years in a row. 2 of the 3 going in. Well, I guess it would have been 2 of those 3, including the one last year with Utica, went to overtime. So this was the 4th straight national championship, or the 3rd of 4 national championship games they were involved in that went to overtime, and this time Hamilton wins it.
So Friday night, game 2, what is Wisconsin Stout is the team that got rid of Gary and the Pioneers on Friday night.
Yeah.
They were playing Hobart.
Not on Friday, though.
They were playing Hobart physically.
Yeah.
They were banging into the...
That was a close game.
Into the boards.
What was it, 4-2 was the final?
Yeah. Banging into the boards and everything.
Well, they were very physical with Utica, and the thought was maybe a few calls should have been made, and they weren't, but it is what it is. They could not beat Hobart. Hobart then goes into the final and loses to Hamilton. What a big win. What a big win for the program. First national championship for the program, and it was awesome. Let's see. We have a lot to get to today. Mark Ford will be in. He runs Shipwright Printing in South Utica. And actually, he was one of the first ones to take over Valbialis and reopen it. And he has some thoughts on what could make next year much better when it comes to Valbialis. And we'll speak with him. Jonathan Savage will get an update on the Iranian war, what is happening there. Jim Jackson, later on this morning, Emmy Award-winning Jim Jackson, formerly of WIBX, and former voice of the Utica Devils, going way, way back, is now the legendary voice of the Philadelphia Flyers. And we'll speak with Jim as part of our 100th celebration, people that we haven't had a chance to get to. We finally were able to nail it down with Jim. We'll speak with him in the 8 o'clock hour here this morning, and a lot more.
Yeah, and I wonder if he knows that Hamilton took home the national championship last night. We'll have to tell him when we talk to him later this morning.
Jim was an SU graduate, and actually Jim and I met in 1982 when Jim was the assistant general manager, along with Dan Horde, if you know that name. Dan Horde, who I believe calls NBA games somewhere around the country. Anyway, those two were interns from Syracuse. I was the scoreboard and public address announcer and the radio play-by-play guy for away games for the Little Falls Mets, and Jim and Dan were the assistant GMs back then. I had a chance to. That's where I met met Jim. Later on, we would work together when he was calling the Devils games, and boy, it's the rest is history for him. We'll have him on later on this morning. That'll be a good one.
Jim does some hockey for TNT Turner Network Sports. TNT Sports, when the hockey does the playoffs, he occasionally calls does the games because the Flyers were eliminated.
Okay, tell me what happened this weekend. There's been a lot of talk with Katie Aiello, and there's more going on. What do we know?
Well, what I saw over the weekend was somebody foiled the video of, I believe, Katie Aiello going into the basement at Utica City Hall. So those are out there on Facebook, some still images, if anybody wants to check that out. This is obviously in regard to something that happened earlier this year.
It does look like a clandestine operation, doesn't it? There's a backpack. There's a flashlight.
I believe her statement was when she came on this show, and it's interesting because that original post has now been taken down. The owner only shared it with a small group of people, changed who can see it, or it has been deleted. So I cannot see the original post that went up this week.
Okay.
Images. I don't know why that's been taken down.
So your thoughts on all of it? Anything new?
I don't know of anything new. Again, I said this before. It's not a good look. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. If she's a council person,
just ask for the documents.
Not to mention that the Utica's Democratic city chair is your comptroller. So it's not like there's some beef with the comptroller's office.
Right.
If she was looking for documents, financial documents on something, I'm sure she could have just requested them. It makes you think she didn't want people to know what she was looking for. And it also, I have to ask this, it makes me wonder, was there anything in the book bag when she left the building that wasn't in the book bag when she came in the building?
Right.
So,
well, that's what you open yourself up to. It's like making sure that if you're doing something, you have someone with you as a witness that can verify. But when you go in the middle of the night, nobody knows you're going in, or whenever it was, and it leaves that door open to ask, well, what did you take anything? No. Well, how do we know you didn't take anything?
Yeah, and she had alluded to this when she came on the program here, that essentially, I'm a city council person. Yeah, I get that, but that doesn't mean that you can go. We had heard some feedback from some people who said, look, I used to work for the city, my Social Security, and I don't think she was down there trying to steal somebody's identity. I don't think that was the reason she was down there, but it does open up a lot of questions. And what was it that she was looking for?
And it makes it seem like whatever she was looking for, she didn't want anyone to know she was looking for it.
Also, I believe when she was on this program and I asked her, what was it you were looking for? She said, I don't remember. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Okay, so in addition, she has a lawsuit against the council and against the Herkimer School District.
Yes.
And there's some interesting documents that are floating around on that as well. Which, I find rather ironic. I guess we're past the whole residency thing, but this just does put an exclamation point on the whole on that whole issue.
Yes, this is the legal action taken against the Herkimer School District.
So, and what is the lawsuit over? It's over her kids being able to go to school at Herkimer?
Yes, that is my understanding.
Okay. And is she a resident of Utica or is she a resident of Herkimer? And the same issue, of course, for the Common Council. Is she a resident of Utica to be on the Common Council, or is she a resident of Herkimer? Or does she have dual residency, and is that even a thing? So there's a lot there, and this kind of opens that door all up all over again, because now there are documents on file, official documents, including a lawsuit against the Herkimer School District, where it lists her address as
Delrose Lane
in Utica,
in Herkimer.
Oh,
in Herkimer, correct.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff you just can't make up. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and look, if you go on Facebook onto Katie's page, one of the first things that you'll see, and I don't want to misrepresent it here, but so let me pull it up. Let's see, Katie Ielo. Okay, if you go to her Facebook page, this is pinned from 2024. The comments that she made at that time: today I submitted an official request to Oneida County DA Todd Carville in hopes he can put to rest so much confusion surrounding what electoral residency laws are so that the public's time and tax dollars are not further wasted on ignorant, bad faith debates. This is a press release from Katie to Todd Carville, and again, this goes back to 2024, and it talks about when the DA's office was trying to determine her residency. But Your office published, the city clerk, the results of an unprecedented 18-month investigation into my electoral residency, an investigation that cost presumably hundreds of thousands of dollars across all the institutions involved.
Now, and by the way, Scott McNamara told us that was ridiculous. It was not that extensive, and there was no way that much money, even close to that amount of money, went towards that investigation.
Yeah, but I guess the point I'm trying to convey is she plays it off like she was targeted or that they were out to get her.
I find that Katie is someone who is one of the biggest anti-Trump people you will find, yet she uses the same strategies that Trump uses when he says they're coming after. It's not that I did anything wrong. They're just coming after me because they're targeting me. She's using the same playbook as Trump, who she despises. I find that funny.
Yes, and I know she says it's been put to bed.
Well, it's put to bed until the documents are out there, and then all of a sudden for everybody to see, and we're talking about it again.
Right, but the bigger issue, and I think this is the part that she seems to overlook, is the misrepresentation of, she's a city council person. She's out there essentially putting out there things that aren't accurate, right?
Well, remember, in the beginning, it was not dual residency. Is I live in Utica.
Right.
I do not live in Herkimer. But when you find that to Herkimer, she's telling the school district that she lives in Herkimer. To Uticans, she's telling, for the purpose of becoming or remaining on the Common Council, she's saying she lives in Utica. So these are issues that are what you're saying. Your point is this is something that was created by her.
Correct. Inconsistencies.
Yes. And the fact that there is a rule that you got to be a resident in order to be on the council. And that was not, remember in the beginning, there was no dual residency even talked about. It was, I am a resident of Utica.
Right.
So that's where it gets, that's you. This is not targeting. No one's targeting anyone. It's just, here we go again with this topic. Mike, this morning, you got to use the Three Stooges. Okay. You need to get one of those old-fashioned air horns, people. Okay, talking about my hearing. My ears are plugged. Luckily, I'm wearing headphones, and they're really cranked today. Question is, are you a resident of Utica or a resident of Herkimer? Katie, yes. Her answer is yes. And that's part of the problem.
Oh, here we go. Lance is already on
this.
Right, I knew this was coming.
Hold on to Lance with this, and we'll get to it. 6:39, Manaski with an update.
Bill, we have partly cloudy skies and 41 degrees. It is 6:40. The U.S. now has more than 50,000 troops in the Middle East region as the war in Iran has passed the 1-month mark. An estimated 2,500 Marines and 2,500 sailors have arrived in recent days as President Trump has reportedly floated the idea of putting boots on the ground in Iran and taking over the oil-producing hub of Karg Island. Some relief could be coming for TSA workers. White House border czar Tom Homan says paychecks should be going out either today or tomorrow amid the partial government shutdown. He made the comment during an interview on CNN's State of the Union as lawmakers on Capitol Hill remain deadlocked over funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Fighter jets had to use flares to gain a pilot's attention and escort a civilian aircraft out of a no-fly zone after it breached restricted airspace near President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. A spokesperson with the North American Aerospace Defense Command says fighter jets safely escorted the plane out of the area yesterday. The federal judge in Kentucky has dismissed charges against 2 former police officers who helped draft the search warrant that led to Breonna Taylor's death. That move came Friday after the Department of Justice requested the action be taken regarding former Louisville officers Joshua Janes and Kyle Meany, quote, in the interest of justice. Taylor was killed in 2020 after police officers conducted a no-knock search warrant at an apartment she shared with her boyfriend. And French authorities say 3 suspects have been arrested in connection with a foiled bombing attack on Bank of America's headquarters in Paris. A suspect was detained at the scene after he placed a homemade explosive device close to the bank around 3:30 local time Saturday morning. 2 more arrests were announced yesterday. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 6:42. Here's your Weather Center forecast.
Mild weather continuing to push back into central New York State, and as we push on through this Monday, not expecting much, if any, in the way of wet weather, but change in the forecast as soon as tonight when showers may return. The partial sun as we push through this morning, partly sunny this afternoon, low 60s. Tonight will drop to the upper 40s with a few showers. Tomorrow, showers, maybe some steady rain in the afternoon, maybe a thunderstorm, 65. And occasional rain and thunderstorms Wednesday, upper 50s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, a few clouds, 41 degrees at 6:42.
All right, we'll get Lance's comment. He's all over it. Let's break first. Right. And then Tanya Powers, the airports, how they're running. It's Easter week. And we'll speak with Jonathan Savitz, the latest on the Iranian war, coming up at WIBX.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Easter reminds us that new beginnings are possible. You can help the Rome Rescue Mission provide the chance of a new beginning for a family in our area. It's the Rome Rescue Mission's goal to help families in need this Easter season. With your generous support of $50, a family of 5 will enjoy a memorable Easter celebration. The Rome Rescue Mission will provide a family with a hot meal, a feeling of safety, knowing someone cares. From there, a person can rebuild a life. Through resurrection power comes freedom from the past and an unlimited future. Everyone deserves a chance at a new beginning. Won't you help make that happen for families in our area this season? Rome Rescue Mission, giving hope and loving the lost. Please donate now at romemission.org. That's romemission.org. Rome Rescue Mission, a hand up, not a handout.
Here it comes. Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap! Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, I'm sure you've been watching over the weekend all of the developments in the Iranian war and the number of U.S. soldiers that are arriving and on their way over there into the Middle East. Let's get an update from Jonathan Savitz from Fox News Radio. Jonathan, good morning. Let's start off the week. What do we know?
Yeah, good morning. We are seeing escalation on one front. We're seeing the threat of escalation on another, but meanwhile, an insistence that diplomacy is not dead. Over the weekend, Iran-backed Houthi rebels joined the conflict, firing drones and missiles at Israel from Yemen. But President Trump is openly mulling over the prospect of using ground troops to take Iran's Karg Island, which houses a crucial oil refinery. At the same time, he's saying that the United States and Iran have been meeting directly and indirectly, and that Iran's new leaders have been very reasonable. He thinks a peace deal could be reached fairly quickly.
So we're hearing, again, a lot of conflicting stories. The president says one thing, and when talking to Marco Rubio or other people within the Pentagon or the White House, they say something else. I saw yesterday that inside the White House, they're saying that the U.S. is really not directly meeting, that these are more, there's communication more than negotiation and meeting, and that documents are being passed back and forth. What do you know about that? Is that what you're getting?
Yeah, so Pakistan is acting as an intermediary between Iran and the United States. They passed Iran the U.S. proposal for ending the conflict, which was, I think, seen by Iran to be akin to capitulation, to completely giving up and giving the U.S. everything they wanted. So they publicly rejected this. Iran denies that talks are taking place, but it's very clear that there is this back-channel communication going on. So Pakistan says that they are preparing to host meaningful talks in the coming days aimed at ending the war, but we don't know yet whether the United States or Iran have actually agreed to attend those talks. President Trump clearly wants to put pressure on Iran, and that is why, of course, he's talking about the possibility of taking Karg Island, because that is so important to the Iranian economy.
I think the rest of the region and really the rest of the world is paying such close attention as this war expands, and the deeper it goes, the more chance there is to oil and gas and natural gas manufacturing to be hit, which the problem here is it could have a huge effect, even more so than the Strait of Hormuz, on the production of oil and natural gas, and would take years. We're already dealing with this, years to repair, right?
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons President Trump says why his forces on Karg Island from the air attacked only military installations and didn't attack the oil refinery itself, because it would take so long for that to get up and running. And one day Iran is going to need to get back on its feet and going to need to provide for its people one way or another. Iran has also shown that it is willing to strike in retaliation against similar facilities that are hit. For example, an Iranian gas field was attacked a couple of weeks ago, and Iran struck at Bahrain's corresponding gas field in response. We have seen Iran fire missiles at Saudi Arabian oil regions. We have seen other energy infrastructure targeted in the region, and even a desalination plant in Kuwait. And if Iran started to go after its neighbors' desalination plants, that would be very serious indeed.
Well, fresh water would be gone very quickly. And the other part of the scariest part of the Strait of Hormuz, as long as there's a threat, it seems, of Iran being able to target ships, these big companies, these big oil rigs, are not willing to put the risk, nor are the insurance companies willing to back them up in traveling through the strait.
Yeah, that's right. Iran doesn't need to attack every ship. They just need to make it threatening enough that companies are not willing to let their ships travel up and down the Strait of Hormuz. It is a very easy place for Iran to cause mayhem and cause mischief. It's narrow, it's shallow. On the Iranian side of the strait, they have these mountains and valleys. It's places that they can hide their missiles and their drones particularly easily. So that is why tanker traffic has gone down. Now, President Trump says that Iran has decided to allow 20 more tankers to successfully transit the strait. However, before this war started, there were about 138 tankers going back and forward every day, so that's not a massive impact.
And then finally, who's in charge of Iran right now?
Well, notionally, the Supreme Leader, the Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, is in charge, but we have not seen him or heard his voice since he took on the role, and there's all sorts of rumors about the state of his health. Clearly, there are influential people, including the head of the Revolutionary Guard, the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, and possibly the Foreign Minister, Abbas Araghchi, as well.
Okay, this continues. We'll see where this week goes. Hopefully, diplomacy takes the lead seat here. Jonathan Savage, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Jonathan Savage with Fox News Radio. Pretty wild. Meanwhile, gas prices continue to rise, and so will, the longer this goes on, so will other expenses, things that it take. There's not a lot that isn't manufactured that doesn't include oil.
Correct.
In some way. So
or transportation of.
And the other part is, can these airports get back up and operating? It's going to take quite some time to get back to full operation, and we have Easter week coming up. It's going to be busy, very busy. Good Friday is Friday. What else? What did you say? Tiger Woods. We didn't get to that yet. What is going? He was about to make an attempt at another comeback at the Masters, and that still could happen, but maybe it won't. There are some saying he should be penalized and not allowed to play. It does seem that Tiger Woods has an addiction to pain meds or something.
Yeah, something. It's sad. I just saw a headline that said, and where is this from? People.com. Tiger Woods won't hire a driver, or why Tiger Woods?
What is that? I saw that headline. Why won't he hire a driver?
I don't know.
Okay, that's in that story.
I guess so. And then ex-Ryder Cup captain backs Tiger Woods' return after car accident. I can't imagine he would play in the Masters now. This is not a good look, and you would almost have part of the crowd problem. I mean, he's always the fan favorite, right? When he's on the golf course,
you'd have
people booing and not. Yeah. I mean, fortunately, nothing happened. But the first accident he was in was bad and could have been fatal for him. And in this case, you never know who's going to get hurt. So
over the weekend, I thought it would be St. John's that knocked off Duke, but it turns out it wasn't. The team I have winning it all is the team that knocks off Duke, UConn.
Yeah, UConn with the buzzer beater. Wow, that was exciting.
An ending, a shocking ending of yesterday's Elite Eight game with Duke blowing a 19-point lead and then made a final blunder that ended the UConn quest, making a game-winning three-pointer with less than 1 second left on the clock. Here's audio.
72-70, Duke, 10 seconds to go. Get it into Boozer, back for Sarr, ahead, Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds, Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good! With .3, UConn goes in front. Utterly impossible. March means drama. Astounding. All Duke had to do was hold the ball there. Absolutely. Dead in the water to come back and win this one, 73-72. A March hero is born. Braylon Mullins hits the dagger.
That was exciting.
That was something. UConn. It's been 36 years since Duke won like that against UConn, when there was a buzzer beater in the Final Four. UConn's 19-point comeback is tied for the third largest in the Elite Eight or later in the NCAA tournament in NCAA tournament history.
You mentioned St. John's. I saw Rick Pitino got a contract extension. Did you see him after the game?
I didn't.
So there was the press conference after the game.
They lost by what, 5?
Yeah, it was a good game.
I think so, yeah.
Game.
And they were up at the half. I don't know if you remember what I said is that St. John's will be leading Duke at the half. I didn't say they were going to win.
Is that what you said?
No, I said they were going to win.
So Rick Pitino, as he started his press conference, I thought he handled it very well. He didn't come across as like a huge jerk, but he basically sat down and said, listen, just a recommendation for the future. We have 2 teams. We're in the Elite Eight. Everybody's competing, leaving it all on the court. And obviously the other team is very excited, as they should be. And there's a big celebration that goes on. He goes, but me and my players sat out in the hallway for 30 minutes waiting to come and answer questions from you. In the future, can you reverse that where the losing team would go first? so we don't have to sit through the celebration and the delays.
Yeah,
and
that's
then you can talk to the
ridiculous.
winning team because they're going to be here partying and celebrating all
Yeah,
along
they're
anyway.
already going to be out on the court. They're already hanging with people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a very good point. Anything else that we haven't hit on? I know there's a bunch, but we'll get to all of it. But as for certainly right now, what a weekend. A lot this weekend. A lot of family will be coming home. A lot of people will be traveling. I believe that Good Friday starts the school winter break, or this would be spring break for schools, right? So you'll have a lot of people that will be traveling. And are you willing to make the trip on an airplane? Because you probably won't have as much of a problem in Syracuse getting out or Albany getting out. But if you were traveling down to JFK or LaGuardia, or let's say you're going into Orlando or something like that, coming home will be a mess. They were saying get there 3 hours before. Now they're saying don't come so early. So which is it? The Good Feet Store, people all over have an issue when it comes to pain, and the Good Feet Store can help. Arch support specialist, quality of life, and there's no appointment required. You can walk right in. And now New Hartford has the Good Feet Store. 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. Visit them today. You can walk in without an appointment. News is next.
These are uncertain times. Ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and beyond continue to shake global markets, driving up energy costs and creating widespread volatility. Gold has responded as history shows it does, climbing to new highs as a proven safe haven against inflation and unrest. Silver follows strong, offering even more protection for diversified portfolios. Call True Gold Republic at 800-300-GOLD for your free guide on protecting your retirement. If you're 55 or older, approaching or enjoying retirement, and have significant savings, you understand why stability matters now more than ever. Paper assets can vanish in a crisis, but precious metals have endured for generations. True Gold Republic helps Americans like you protect what you've built with real gold and silver IRAs. Call 800-300-GOLD for your free wealth protection guide today. No obligation, just information. Consult your tax professional before investing. Call 800-300-4653. That's 800-300-GOLD.
Start your savings at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Now through March 31st, get up to $170 back on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your Tallman's Tire CFNA credit card. Don't wait. These offers end March 31st. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, or online at tallmanstire.com.
Don't overpay for your next mattress. Mattress Express is upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. Bring in any locally advertised price on a brand we carry. We will beat the price. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com.
Hurt in a car, call William Attar.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Tain Insurance Studio, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Well, set your troops on fire. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. That warning from the Speaker of Iran's parliament as President Trump says he's considering seizing Iran's Karg Island oil terminal.
Overnight, President Trump took to Truth Social to say, big day in Iran. Many long sought-after targets have been taken out and destroyed by our great military, the finest and most lethal in the world. God bless you all. Reports indicate the president is considering a limited ground operation inside of Iran, following the arrival of the USS Tripoli, manned with 3,500 troops, including 2,500 Marines, to the CENTCOM area of operation.
Fox's Trey Yanks. Airport TSA workers who've gone unpaid during a now 45-day government shutdown are told they'll start getting checks today, with President Trump signing an executive order to divert other Homeland Security money to them.
Well, we're going to pay them for as long as we have to, and I will tell you, the ICE workers have been amazing, and that's helping people with their bags.
Immigration agents are expected to stay at airports where there are still TSA shortages. The Supreme Court on Wednesday will hear President Trump's challenge to birthright citizenship, whether babies born in the U.S. automatically receive American citizenship. Today, it's a case about where crimes are committed versus charged.
Former Twitter employee Ahmad Abuamo was accused of selling users' data to Saudi Arabia. To cover up the money he got, he created a fake invoice and then emailed it to investigators in California. Those agents then filed charges against him, alleging he obstructed their investigation, and they filed the charges in California, also where Twitter was based. He was convicted of acting as a foreign agent, among other charges, and sentenced to 42 months in federal prison. But Abuamo appealed, arguing he created the document in Washington state, so he should be charged there. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled the impacts of the crime were felt in Northern California, so charges could be filed there. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
More than 70 people are reported to have been killed by gunmen in South Sudan over a dispute at a gold mine. America's listening to Fox News.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250. Say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Another prominent Democrat, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, isn't saying he is or isn't running for president in 2028.
On NBC's Meet the Press, Senator Booker said his new wife, Alexis Lewis, has ideas on what lies ahead.
Just to play a role in whatever that is in the future of trying to get that renewal in a country where we begin to have Americans fully embrace the dream.
When asked directly if that means a run for the White House is off the table,
I am definitely not ruling it out. I'm running for re-election. I hope New Jersey will support me for another 6 years.
Senator Booker last ran for president in 2020.
It's Fox's Colonel Scott. It's the second day of the Christian Holy Week before Easter. Holy Monday in the Bible has Jesus cursing a fruitless fig tree during his walk from Bethany to Jerusalem.
Holy Week at the Vatican looks slightly different under Pope Leo. Of course, there are intense days of prayer and celebration as the Roman Catholic Church builds up to Easter Sunday. Events began yesterday with the Pope conducting Palm Sunday Mass in St. Peter's Square. But unlike Pope Francis, who on Holy Thursday would visit prisons and wash the feet of inmates, Leo will bring that day's Mass back to the Cathedral of Rome. It was on Easter Sunday last year that Francis made his final public appearance. He passed away the very next morning. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
UConn, Illinois, Arizona, and Michigan advanced to the men's college basketball Final Four. NASCAR in Virginia, the Hendricks Motorsports team, and drivers of Chevrolets, and no win streaks to start the season.
Chase Elliott overtaking Denny Hamlin late to win at Martinsville. Now, if there was any track where the drought was going to end, it was probably always going to be the paperclip. Hendrick cars have now won 31 races at Martinsville, the most of any Cup team at any single track in NASCAR history.
That's Fox's Greg Thompson. Project Hail Mary is the second movie in the country for a second week, grossing another $54 million, followed by the animated kids movie Hoppers and a new action comedy, They Will Kill You. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
We have some clouds, 41 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. This news update is brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Closing arguments expected today in the trial of former Mid-State Correctional Facility Officer Jonah Levy. Testimony wrapped up Friday after the medical examiner detailed the injuries inmate Messiah Nantwi suffered when he was beaten at the prison last year. Levy is accused of being involved in that assault, but denies any wrongdoing. If convicted on the top charge, Levy faces 25 years to life in prison. The United County Sheriff's Office says a Town of Augusta man arrested after an investigation into a domestic incident that occurred in Oriskany Falls. Derek Streeter, 24, was charged with criminal obstruction of breathing and harassment. He was processed at the Kurt Wyman Law Enforcement Building and was later released on his own recognizance. Utica Police is partnering with Flock Safety to pilot its Raven acoustic detection system for the purpose of detecting gunshots in the city of Utica. UPD officials currently utilize SoundThinking's Shot Spotter technology for the same reason. Police officials say their data shows that more than 80% of gunfire incidents in the city are not reported by the public. In these cases, officers respond solely because of the Shot Spotter alert. Those responses have led to arrests, the recovery of critical evidence, and more importantly, the preservation of life. The pilot program with Flock Safety will be conducted at no cost to the city during a trial period. The New York State Department of Transportation advising drivers of a planned lane reduction along Mohawk Street and Kavanaugh Road at the bridge over the Erie Canal in the town of Marcy at State Route 922A. The lane reduction is expected to begin Monday, April 6th and last approximately 5 weeks for bridge joint and concrete work. And of course, that work will be done weather permitting. And Governor Kathy Hochul announcing over $43 million in investment funding for the region for the Micron Technology Project. She says that money can be used for boosting housing, workforce development, job training, and economic growth. Micron is building a chip fab plant at the White Pine Commerce Park in Clay. Governor Hochul says that project will bring tremendous growth to central New York and the state as a whole. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:08. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Mild weather continuing to push back into central New York State, and as we push on through this Monday, not expecting much, if any, in the way of wet weather, but change in the forecast as soon as tonight when showers may return. The partial sun as we push through this morning, partly sunny this afternoon, low 60s. Tonight will drop to the upper 40s with a few showers. Tomorrow, showers, maybe some steady rain in the afternoon, maybe a thunderstorm, 65. And occasional rain and thunderstorms Wednesday, upper 50s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, some clouds, 41 degrees at 7:08. All right, in sports, Hobart hockey, 30-1 on the season. They entered the national championship game yesterday, undefeated, a perfect 30-0. But the Hamilton Continentals take them down in the national championship game. 2-1 your final in overtime. The game winner goes to Curtis Sturgeon, scoring on a breakaway goal with 3:16 left in overtime. Congratulations to the Continentals. It is their first D3 Men's National Hockey Championship. In NCAA tournament action on the men's side, talking, of course, college basketball now, number 1 Michigan crushes 6th seed Tennessee in the Midwest, and second-ranked UConn stunned top seed Duke to close out the Elite Eight with a buzzer beater. That was a thrilling finish. The Wolverines will now tip off against West Region number 1 Arizona. The Huskies battle the South's number 3, that's Illinois. The Final Four on the men's side resumes on Saturday. The first half of the Final Four has been set in the women's basketball tournament. Number 1 overall seed UConn beat 6th seed Notre Dame, and fellow number 1 UCLA advanced past number 3 Duke yesterday. The action continues today as top seeded Texas will play number 2 Michigan, and number 1 seed South Carolina will battle number 3 TCU. NBA action last night. The Oklahoma City Thunder pulled away in the fourth quarter as they beat the Knicks 111-100. The Mets could not complete the sweep on Sunday. They lose to the Pirates 4-3 in 10 innings. The Yankees did complete a sweep this weekend over the Giants. They're 3-0. They will continue their West Coast trip as they open up a series against the Mariners tonight in Seattle. And that's all I got.
Are you sure? You look a little indecisive.
No, that's all I've got.
Okay,
here.
All right, fair enough. Davey Hovaika's free money question of the day today is worth how much dough?
$150.
Okay, and I think I have a totally doable question.
You say that all the time.
I do say that, but this morning's question comes from the category called Davey's Mom.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Huh? Today's question comes from the category called Davey's Mom.
Well, unless the answer is makes the best deviled eggs, I have a feeling there's going to be a fight in this studio.
Let me tell you, she does make the best deviled eggs, and it's deviled eggs week, you know.
Is it?
Well, it should be, because this is it's Easter week, and deviled eggs are a must for Easter dinner.
Would they be saintly eggs or?
Oh, right, deviled eggs.
Archbishop
versus,
eggs.
Good point. Good point. Jesus eggs.
Jesus.
Quick break. We'll come back. Coming up, we may or we may not. All right, you're indecisive. I'm indecisive. Don't call me indecisive. Quick break at WIBX.
Easter reminds us that new beginnings are possible. You can help the Rome Rescue Mission provide the chance of a new beginning for a family in our area. It's the Rome Rescue Mission's goal to help families in need this Easter season. With your generous support of $50, a family of 5 will enjoy a memorable Easter celebration. The Rome Rescue Mission will provide a family with a hot meal, a feeling of safety, knowing someone cares. From there, a person can rebuild a life. Through resurrection power comes freedom from the past and an unlimited future. Everyone deserves a chance at a new beginning. Won't you help make that happen for families in our area this season? Rome Rescue Mission, giving hope and loving the lost. Please donate now at romemission.org. That's romemission.org. Rome Rescue Mission, a hand up, not a handout.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Don't overpay for your next mattress. Mattress Express is upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. Bring in any locally advertised price on a brand we carry. We will beat the price. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS or go to mattressexpressny.com.
If you're looking for smart, balanced talk to wrap up your day, tune in to The Guy Benson Show. Weeknights at 7, we'll break down the biggest stories in politics, culture, and the media with sharp analysis, lively interviews, and a dose of humor. From Capitol Hill to the day's hottest headlines, we bring you the facts and the conversation behind them. If you miss it during the week, catch the weekend edition Sunday afternoon starting at 1. That's The Guy Benson Show, weeknights at 7 and Sundays at 1 on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Keeler in the morning, Keeler in the morning.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, it's Monday morning. I got a message from a friend here this morning that said, I don't know how you people do it, Getting up at 5 a.m. is hell. How do you do it? I don't know. I get up at 5 a.m. every day anyway.
I'm up at 4:15.
You're up really early.
Yeah.
I'm between 4:30 and 5, and then of course I'm up at 1, 2:45, 3:30, and sometimes 4 o'clock. So it's one of those.
But
I'm up all the time. It's terrible. It's terrible. I can't even sleep the whole night anymore.
I'm in bed probably before both of you.
Right. You go to bed early.
Yeah, that's why.
What time do you go to bed, Davey?
That's why we're on.
Sometimes I'll text you at like 11 at night, and you're nowhere to be found.
8:30.
8:30 you go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. Everybody's got their own habits.
And I do apologize when I don't see the text until
That's
the
all
next
right.
morning.
But you get them early.
Yeah.
I'll get a message from you at like 4 in the morning. So, okay. We were talking about this Katie Ielo thing. Now, I guess I'll respond. Lance is all in on this. What's going on?
Okay, so let's go here with Lance. First of all, his last comment was Davey looks like Pelly. And why is he mentioning Russ Pelly? Well, I'll tell you why in a second.
Oh, I didn't know who Pelly was.
Yeah, Russ Pelly. Remember we talked to him last year, and he alludes to this here. He says, if Russ Pelly...
Pelly is the guy that offered the $500 allegedly to Katie.
Yes.
Okay.
If Russ Pelly is guiding Katie's investigation, it's worth about 2 cents. I remember his girlfriend's interview on the show. Talk about your most uncomfortable interview ever. What he's referring to is...
That is so odd to me that he would go to Pelly on this, because no one else in the world is thinking about that guy.
I wonder if he's implying, and I didn't see who posted the post I saw over the weekend, the Facebook post. I'm wondering if he's saying that Pelly was the source of the
maybe
Katie.
he's the one that did it. Okay.
I don't know that, but I don't know why else he would bring him up.
Yeah.
Okay, he says, Bill, please explain what she did wrong other than challenge the current administration.
Well, I can tell you right now, she lied.
Yeah. And this predates the Galimi administration. If we're talking about the residency issue, predates Galimi.
I will say it right now. I enjoy having her come on. I enjoy having all of them come on. The ones who tend to come on. Samantha and Joe Beatrice, the mayor, and Katie Ielo are really the regulars who will come on the show. And I'm all good on that. And I like having her on. And I think she does a really good job of digging and investigating and all of that. But going down into the basement in the middle of the day or the middle of the night when nobody's there and sneaking in, you can't say it wasn't sneaking. That's odd to me. I'm sorry. That's weird. And there's a story there. And the other thing with with Lance, I'm just being honest. The other thing is with the residency, that was all created by fibs, if you will. I don't want to say the word lies, but I live here. Well, not really. Didn't work out that way. Turns out your primary residence had to be in Herkimer, or your kids couldn't have gone to school there. So that became that whole thing. And now suing the DA's office and then suing the Herkimer School District, these are all, listen, I know people who try to get their kids to go to another school district, and the school has said, I'm sorry, but you're either paying tuition here or you can't because you don't live here. Well, my kids are there every morning. No, that's their grandparents' house. Your residence is here. And that's done at school districts all the time.
Right.
Especially when you have a school district that people want their kids to go to.
Right.
All the time. This isn't new. So wrong. And the word the term dual residency never came up until well afterwards. And this thought that the DA was attacking her politically is ridiculous. And even the part about being evicted from her last place, I did a little digging on that. And I can tell you, they had no idea of her political no idea of her political background or any of it. All they knew is that she was paying a rent that was out of whack, and ultimately they wanted to do something else with the place, so they raised the rent. To me, it was just business. Now, ruthless business, maybe, but a targeted attack, no. So there you go. These are all the things that I would say are relevant, which makes her issue relevant.
Completely agree. And Lance has since chimed in to say that Pelly runs the East Utica Facebook page. I guess that's why he's bringing it up.
All I know about him is I think his girlfriend ran for office.
And I don't think they're a thing anymore.
And I know that he had an issue with her during her campaign a while back.
Well, this is from Lance. He says, I know Bill's memory isn't the greatest. I have to go back and look.
Really pretty good, actually.
I have to go back and look this up because I don't remember this. I don't think I was here at the time. I know Bill's memory isn't the greatest, but ask him if he remembers the interview. Poor Andrew was asking her basic questions, and Pelly was in the background trying to feed her the answers. One of the funniest things I've ever seen on the show.
I remember her in here. I don't necessarily remember that moment. But like any other, let me say, you can have the greatest memory in the world if something tweaks your interest. It's amazing what you remember from the past. You remember little pieces of things from the past. I did not find that to be. We have a lot of people that come on who don't know what they're talking about. We have a lot of people who come on and are talking. They're running for a village office. Or even a state office, and they're in here talking about national issues.
Yeah, or vice versa.
We have it all the time, and it just, I give it more of a roll of an eye than a place in my brain for recollection.
We had a candidate on there last week running for a federal office talking about stopping Kathy Hochul's energy plans.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Good luck doing that in Congress.
President Trump has certainly played a role in imposing on his former New York State.
I said, Kathy, it's enough.
Yeah.
Enough's enough.
There'll be no more congestion tax down Midtown, all of that stuff. So.
Lance says Bill basically stopped the interview. This is getting back to the Morella interview on the show. Bill basically stopped the interview because it was going nowhere and she wasn't making any sense, and offered her to come in the studio, and of course she never did. So I say good morning to Lance. Let's see what we have here on the YouTube page. Some Mets banter. Mets 2-1. Tiger will donate and will skate on his arrest. Nick says money talks. Politicians and the elite always skate. That's from Ja Wick. We're getting to the Tiger Woods situation.
Can I, while you're bringing up comments, bring up the issue of the New York Mets yesterday? A lot of fans, a lot of people in the baseball world criticizing managerial decisions on the Mets yesterday. The fact that another relief pitcher wasn't brought in, the fact that they sent okay, Lance, you're right on my memory. Second baseman
Simeon?
No. Shortstop, sorry, not second base.
Lindor.
They sent Francisco Lindor from third base, and it being called out was a bad play. A lot of criticism over decisions made in that extra innings game yesterday.
I did see the Mets struck out 16 times. I did not see
16 strikeouts. And listen, it's early, right? It's early. But this cannot be the problem, because this is the problem we've had in the past. First two games, though, the Mets were just putting the ball in play and hitting the daylights out of the ball. And not so much yesterday.
Yeah, so, and that happens again. Baseball.
I watched right up until the Hamilton game, and we had tickets, but we did not feel well enough to go yesterday, so we watched it on TV. Which it was on TV. It's amazing how really high quality it was. Being able to run it from my laptop and stream it onto the TV, and it was really free. By the way, NCAA, everything's free for the most part. What else?
Everything else is free. Okay, comments here on the YouTube page. Sorry, I was getting other messages in.
A lot of comments on YouTube.
A lot of it about Tiger Woods. Let's see. Ann says one word for Tiger: Uber. She says treat him like anyone else. And John Wick says,
what's he doing?
Yes, my firecracker. Very true.
If you're under the influence like that, why would you be speeding? Why would you be? I guess because your judgment is impaired, right?
Yeah, I was hoping he would be back at the Masters. I don't think there's any way he returns now. At least not this year.
Let's see. Any others you want to hit on? Because there are a lot of comments there.
Well, I do have a comment from last week, and this came from Big Honey, actually. I think there might be two from last week I wanted to mention. These came into the show late on Friday. One of them has to do with the transgender issue, something we didn't talk about and I didn't have in my news update. Big Honey, not sure if you guys covered this, how the Olympic Committee finally did away with transgender in women's competition. Common sense always prevails, I guess.
Well, that has been a real problem in the Olympics since the before the fall of communism. If you remember the East German, you'd be looking at some of these swimmers or these athletes, and you're like, I don't know, something's going on there.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a new issue. And
well, it
listen,
did happen Thursday or Friday.
I did see
the
that.
IOC came out.
That
and
is
said
a new issue.
They're going to do what they call the once in a lifetime sex test, gender test, basically, to test for chromosomes, I guess.
Yeah.
Rocky, this is from last week. Do you think Ken Jennings of Jeopardy is Democrat or Republican? I don't know what prompted that question late on Friday. Was there some issue, a political issue on the show?
I don't know. I watch Jeopardy often. And I think he's a really good host. I think he is the perfect replacement for what's his name?
And then Lance follows
Alex
up here.
Trebek.
Thank you, Lance, because I was starting to wonder. He says, "I'll admit the residency thing is sketchy, but I don't think she is a criminal mastermind." Well, I don't think we suggested
I don't think we're saying that either. Clearly, if she was, she wouldn't have been caught in the basement.
He says it's funny how bald guys, in parentheses, Stever and Pelly, have issues with Katie.
Well, I hope he's not implying that I have an issue.
Well, I was
Katie.
waiting for him to drop your name in there, but he didn't mention you.
I don't at all.
Is that a thing? Katie has nice hair. I don't think it would fit your face or mine.
No,
or
it wouldn't.
Russ Pelly or Chris Stevers.
Unless I was really just maybe in like a heavy metal band, it might.
What's hair got to do with it?
I don't know. Isn't there a song?
But thank you for admitting that, Lance.
What's hair got to do with it? Got to do with it.
His own credibility. I'll admit the residency thing is a bit sketchy.
Let's see. Did you see thieves stole 12 tons of Kit Kat bars? But they're the British. They're the European Kit Kat. These are Italian, I think. And they were for the racing, F1 or what?
It was a sponsor thing?
Yeah, it was a sponsor thing. And they stole 413,793 candy bars. A spokesperson said, "We always encourage people to have a break with Kit Kat, but it seems they took it a little too far." Here is a little bit of audio on this one.
Give me a break, give me a break. Break me off a piece of that. Break me off a piece of that. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
All right. There's something going on between Howie Mandel and Kelly Ripa. Has anybody followed any of this? Probably
I
not.
saw her picture someplace yesterday, but she's kind of certainly faded out of the limelight almost altogether. But what's this beef about?
Apparently there was... why did they... Here it is on Kelly and Mark. That's her husband, right? I believe so.
Is she still on TV?
Yes, she is. Here is...
That's how little TV I watch.
Here is apparently Howie Mandel apologizing.
You just celebrated 70 years.
Okay, this is all about the, if I'm correct, he says, "I can't believe you do not look like 70. And then Howie Mandel takes issue with it, saying, "Well, what does that mean?" Okay, you'll hear it here.
Okay. 70 years old.
Yes, I'm 70. How does
make any sense?
What do you mean it
You
doesn't
look
make
great.
any sense?
Because you
I
look-
look great? That
Yes.
doesn't mean anything
No,
to me.
it does.
No, I don't like that because that's a caveat. Because you tell somebody you're 70 and they go, you look great.
We're not saying you look great for 70.
Yes, you are,
look
without
great.
saying
No,
70.
We're saying
I'm saying
you
that.
look great.
I am saying
and
that.
I don't believe you're 70.
No, I'm saying...
No, it's like saying you're smart for a stupid person.
Yeah.
Oh, you look smart. You seem smart. You see, I don't look good.
No, you do look good.
Thank you.
Sometimes, as a comedian, things don't land the way you mean them to land. Not only do I want to say I'm sorry, to Kelly. You're absolutely right. I look great for my age. I really do.
I find this a big nothing. But it was a good bit. I thought it was a good bit. And apology for what?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Apology for what?
That's Mark Consuelos, her husband.
Yes.
They met when they were playing on All My Children.
And listen, that is real. That whole thing. Oh my God, you look so good. I get it all the time. It's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, with the cancer thing, and oh, you look so good. Well, I'm going to tell you, I know I don't. So don't give me that crap. Stop with the "you look so good" stuff. You look so good. Oh my God, I expected what? Crawling on the floor? Did you expect to see me in a wheelchair?
Right.
How did you expect to see me?
Where were these compliments before I was diagnosed?
That's right.
The other thing on them...
I didn't look good when I was good, for God's sakes.
I owe an apology to Kelly Ripa. I didn't even realize she was still on TV, but as Smitty said, it's Kelly and Mark, and it's her and her husband.
It's that daytime TV stuff that you wouldn't really pay much attention to.
Yeah, 0
9
interest.
o'clock they're on.
Davey does.
I don't watch it.
I didn't say you did I?
No.
I said you pay attention to it.
Yes.
Yes, like you do everything.
And then what else here?
You're looking good today, Jeff.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
You look good for your age. Wow, that's amazing.
I was at the Hamilton game. It was a sellout. The crowd was phenomenal. I haven't heard it that loud in years. That's from Tim Toolman.
It was a.
That's awesome.
It was jam-packed. And think about it. You've got Geneva and Clinton fan bases. And let me tell you, Hobart travels with that team. I would say there probably were as many, if not more, Hobart fans at the odd than there were Continental fans.
Oh. Lance says, shave your noggin, Jeff. You could make the list also. And then he said, right on, William. I don't know exactly what he was referring to there.
Okay. And then one more thing. You can't blame Braylon Mullins for accidentally dropping the S-bomb on live TV after his game-winning 3-point stunner against Duke. Here he is right after the game, also knowing that the Final Four will be played in his home state, which is pretty cool.
I don't know. I looked up at the clock, and it said 5 seconds. So I tried to get the ball to somebody who had made one in the game, and he wanted to throw it back. So, I saw 3 seconds. It was the last shot. Just happy to see that go in. So it feels so good to go back home. I can tell you that. I'm so excited. But we're ready for Indy.
He did not even know he said it. And sometimes these things happen. And I've seen it where they specifically use the word because they know they're on TV. I hate that. Yeah. This was a clear mistake.
What a shot.
Pure excitement. And think about it, when you haven't scored all game long and they throw the ball back to you, it's like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, he's almost at half court, too.
You're giving it to me? Wow.
John in New Hartford, Ken Jennings has made some anti-Trump statements recently.
I have not heard that. I have not heard anything that is anti-Trump. However, I have to say that there's so much read into when somebody makes a statement. I will say the Pope yesterday made some anti-Trump statements. It's certainly anti-Hegseth, as Hegseth is sitting there praying at the Pentagon briefing that God is on our side, and basically this is a holy war as we're going in to bomb and crush Iran. I can't even believe that we would get down that road, but apparently we have. And the Pope responded. That was a negative Trump comment from the Pope yesterday.
I think the only thing missing from
let me just tell you, Hegseth is very Christian, but he's of the Protestant. He's that Christian nationalist, that Orthodox Christianity that they don't like Catholics. So it's not any big new thing here. He's no fan of Catholicism.
I just think the only thing missing from, and if you can turn me up here on the board. I just think the thing missing from these press conferences with Pete Hegseth is a couple of beers and then maybe a little bit of this. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the Department of War. Stone Cold Pete Hegseth.
Yeah,
smashing beers together.
I think you're right. I mean, I feel we are the predominant power in the world. We're the strongest nation militarily in the world today. And the beauty of America is we never really have to say that because we just stand on our strength. And you never have to say it. The strongest person in the room doesn't have to say, I'm the strongest person in the room. Oh, no,
but he says it.
All the time. It just makes me sick to my stomach. And I've seen and talked to veterans who feel the same way. I'm sorry. It's despicable, in my opinion. 7:36, we're going to do Habaika's free money question of the day. Sorry, that was a negative comment about Hegseth, because it's despicable and unbecoming of an American in power. We have Habaika's free money question of the day coming up, and it is worth $150. Manaski will do an update first, though, and we'll do it next to WIBX.
Hurt in a car? Call William Matar. 315-444-4444.
Easter reminds us that new beginnings are possible. You can help the Rome Rescue Mission provide the chance of a new beginning for a family in our area. It's the Rome Rescue Mission's goal to help families in need this Easter season. With your generous support of $50, a family of 5 will enjoy a memorable Easter celebration. The Rome Rescue Mission will provide a family with a hot meal, a feeling of safety, knowing someone cares. From there, a person can rebuild a life. Through resurrection power comes freedom from the past and an unlimited future. Everyone deserves a chance at a new beginning. Won't you help make that happen for families in our area this season? Rome Rescue Mission, giving hope and loving the lost. Please donate now at romemission.org. That's romemission.org. Rome Rescue Mission, a hand up, not a handout.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Can I read one? You've got something running, I think. Can I read one comment before we do news? This is from Mike when he said, we apparently said, listen, we have people on every day that don't know what they're talking about. And then Mike's response is, we have a lot of people on who don't know what they're talking about. Yes. And one of them is on 3 hours a day, Bill. And Manaski has news at 7:39.
Cloudy skies, 41 degrees at 7:39. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaski. President Trump says he can see a deal with Iran happening soon. The war effort, Operation Epic Fury, passed the 1-month mark over the weekend as thousands of additional American forces arrived in the Middle East. Traveling with reporters on board Air Force One Sunday, Trump was asked if he will consider putting boots on the ground. He said he still has lots of alternatives. Iran, meanwhile, says its military is ready to face U.S. troops on the ground if necessary. Travelers can expect ICE to be present at airports as long as they're needed. White House border czar Tom Homan telling CBS Face the Nation officers will maintain a presence until airports are in what he called a posture where they can do normal operations. It comes as TSA agents have gone unpaid for weeks now during the longest partial federal government shutdown in U.S. history. Huge protests against President Trump took place across the U.S. and cities around the world over the weekend. The No Kings rallies drew roughly 8 million people to streets in well over 3,000 locations across the United States. While things were largely peaceful, there were dozens of arrests for allegedly failing to disperse after Saturday's No Kings demonstration in downtown Los Angeles. The stage is set for the Final Four in the men's NCAA tournament. Number 1 Michigan crushed 6th seed Tennessee in the Midwest. Number 2 UConn stunned top seed Duke with a buzzer beater to close out the Elite Eight. The Wolverines tip off against West Region number 1 Arizona. Coming up on Saturday, the Huskies will battle Illinois in the Final Four on Saturday as well. Tiger Woods has not been seen in public following his release from police custody after he was charged with DUI in connection to a car crash in Florida. Authorities say Woods' Land Rover clipped the back of a truck's trailer on Friday while driving at suspected high speeds in Jupiter Island, where he now lives.
Yeah. And I believe, go ahead.
The Land Rover ended up on its side.
So, because he clipped the street sweeper is what ended up happening. And I believe that President Trump has, whether or not this is true or not, I assume it may very well be. He came out, obviously, in defense of him. Tiger Woods is him and Trump are kind of close. They played golf together. And of course, his ex-daughter-in-law is Tiger's girlfriend now. And,
correct.
And there must be grandchildren because what I saw a comment yesterday is that Trump said, "I do not want my grandchildren riding in Tiger's car anymore with Tiger driving." If that's true, I don't know. If it is.
They have 5 kids.
Yeah. Well,
Kai, Donald III, Tristan, Spencer, and Chloe.
Then I'd say, as a grandfather, that's probably true.
That is, you would agree with Trump on that particular case.
I would absolutely agree.
And Bill, anticipation is building along Florida's Space Coast ahead of the planned launch of Artemis II, the crewed mission to
This
orbit.
is going to be big. This is really big because we're going on the backside. We're going further than any human has ever gone, and we'll be on the backside of the moon and lose contact with them for several minutes before they come around. They're going to the dark side of the moon.
Yes, they are boldly going to where no man has ever gone before, but where there's probably a group of aliens keeping an eye on us right now. The crewed mission to orbit the moon is on track to blast off Wednesday. That would be April 1st. Businesses around the Cape Canaveral area are getting ready for big crowds. Experts predict the launch will add somewhere in the neighborhood of $160 million to that regional economy.
Wow.
WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 7:43.
Mild weather continuing to push back into central New York State, and as we push on through this Monday, not expecting much, if any, in the way of wet weather, but change in the forecast as soon as tonight when showers may return. The partial sun as we push through this morning, partly sunny this afternoon, low 60s. Tonight will drop to the upper 40s with a few showers. Tomorrow, showers, maybe some steady rain in the afternoon, maybe a thunderstorm, 65. And occasional rain and thunderstorms Wednesday, upper 50s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Cloudy skies, 41. I keep peeking out this window looking for sunshine, but none as yet.
Mike, instead of Austin 316, it should be Hegseth 316.
Yes.
And the Tiger incident is similar to Timberlake, Justin Timberlake. I think these people get to the point in their own minds that they feel they are above the law and they are invincible. And I completely agree with that. And that's a real problem. Right? No one ever says no, because if you say no to one of these mega celebrities, you're out of the group.
Yeah.
You're no longer the fun person they want to be around you, and everything gets cut off. Privilege, the money, the being around the celebrity thing.
Yeah,
it's a problem. All right, let's do Davey Hobaika's free money question of the day, and this morning it is worth a whopping $1.50 from Hobaika. You are looking for, and this question today comes from Davey's mom's category. And Davey, you're looking for caller number what?
I don't know what category it is from my mom, but I'm looking for caller number 5.
Number 5. You're going to find out, and
Okay.
you know when it's all said and done. You're going to be like, Bill, I agree with you.
Okay.
All right. Caller 5 right now. 315-73. This is one anybody can answer, I believe. 315, but Davey's mother would have it in a second. 315-736-0186. We'll do it next on WIBX.
Start your savings at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Now through March 31st, get up to $180 back on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $80 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $100 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your Tallman's Tire CFNA credit card. Don't wait. These offers end March 31st. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, or online at tallmanstire.com.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
I got my ears are so plugged this morning. I have to turn my headphones all the way up, Davey. It's terrible. You probably can hear him in there. Yeah. Let me go to the free money question. Every day we do this. At this time, it's worth $150 this morning. Every day is a different amount, and our man Davey usually gets to select what that amount is. And we go usually between $100 and $500. 500 more rare, $100 more rare. I'd say if you had an average, it would be somewhere in the range of like $275, $300 every day. Okay, so it comes from the Hobica Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica. Their number, if you need them legally, is 315-724-1600. And Dale is on the line right now. Good morning, Dale. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, Dale?
Pretty good. You?
All right. I'm okay. We're here. It's Easter week this week. And it's going to be 65 and sunny for a little while today. So enjoy that. Okay, this comes from Davey's mom's category. Every once in a while, we'll come up with a question from her box of questions, and this is in her wheelhouse. Are you prepared?
I think so.
As good as you can be. Okay, here it is. Today is National Doctors Day. The NBC soap opera named after the doctors ran from 1963 until what year? Ready, go.
Ooh. 1983.
1983. Oh, I feel like I want to give you something after that. 1982 is when it was canceled.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Well, that was a really good guess. That was one of those along the, if you remember the theme song, there is a theme song. To me, this was Homesick. You're homesick and your mother's watching, right? Your mother's watching the soap operas, and somehow you'd find yourself playing along and like getting interested in it. Like that was, so you're like, wait a minute, stop that.
Well,
I'm not interested in this.
Certainly when you're young, when you're home from school, anything is more interesting than going to school.
That's true. Dale, what do you say? You remember that, Dale?
I was born in 1983.
You were born in 1983. All right, well, that was a good reason for that guess. Oh, boy, you're making... I graduated in 1982, so you make me feel old. All right, Dale, listen, we're going to give you... I have movie passes to the Glenwood Movieplex and Rome Cinema 8, and stand by. Davey's going to hook you up, okay?
Thank you, Bill.
All right, Dale, thanks so much. Born in 1983. You were born in...
1983.
Yeah, okay.
It was a good year.
It was. It was quite the... that was my first spring break, 1983, Daytona Beach. It was the year that the people were falling out of the balconies and dying.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it was brutal. If a lot of those towns, a lot of those spring break places, which has been going on over the last 3 or 4 weeks, don't really allow any of that stuff anymore.
Right.
But I'm telling you, I've told this story before, when we took a bus from up here, it was through Cortland. My friend Tony got a trip through Cortland, so we all left through there, and we took a bus all the way down to Days Inn Central in Daytona Beach, Florida. And that's where we stayed.
Days Inn, like the hotel chain?
Correct.
Days Inn Central.
And that was, so there must have been like maybe Days Inn North, Days Inn South,
Gotcha.
Days Inn Downtown, Days Inn Central. And right on the water, awesome, just incredible. And MTV, I didn't even know what that was. Richard Marx was playing out, and the band Squeeze was playing. This was real. I remember this like it was yesterday. You would know some of the songs. Anyway, so it was so rowdy. When we were leaving to come home, the police were there, and you had to check out one by one to get to your bus or to go to the airport. However, most were taking a bus because the building was so trashed. There was so much damage. Oh, man. They were arresting people on the way out. Now, we didn't cause any of the damage, but I will tell you, I didn't really know at that time what the mechanics of an elevator looked like, but the sheetrock and the wallboard was ripped off the walls. Oh, you could see down the shaft of the elevator. When we walked onto the elevator, you could see the guts of the elevator. I mean, that's how bad it was.
That's
what
scary.
A hell of a time. Listen, can I take a breaking news break?
Yeah.
On the line right now is ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of Hamilton College, national champions, Hamilton College. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I have to say, wow. That's all I can say. That goal in overtime was pure perfection.
It was, absolutely. I agree.
And I got to tell you also, is it Reed, your goalie?
Yes, Axel Reed.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Holy
way to play it.
Man. Talk about and listen. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you've had a busy, certainly weekend, and
have you been to bed yet, Coach?
Yeah, I got a couple hours. I got 2.5 hours.
Wow. So talk about for you and your team what that experience was like.
I mean, it was obviously amazing to get the win and everything, but I mean, what the huge thing that stands out for me was just the way that the Odd put this whole production on, and you know, the obvious home ice crowd that we had there. I mean, obviously we lucked out that it worked out that way, that we made it, that it happened to be in Utica, but you know, we really took advantage of that. And again, the job that, you know, the auditorium did to put this thing on was amazing.
It was. I really wondered about that. Like, because you know, the Frozen Four has been up in Lake Placid. It's been all over.
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't find a better location, certainly for this two New York teams. But you're right on the thruway. The complex is enormous.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It was. And you know what I love to see too in the stands. I saw a lot of Utica sweatshirts and jerseys. The Pioneer fan base came out to support you guys. That was huge.
Absolutely, yeah. They did, yeah. Everyone was there, and we were super grateful for it. I mean, it just gives you such a huge lift when you have that kind of fan support, and you know, when those guys hit the ice and they're roaring like that, it gives you a lot of jump. Yeah,
and listen, Geneva's not that far either. So they traveled pretty well too. So it was a rockin' Odd. Actually, we had somebody message in this morning that said they haven't seen it that rowdy in several years. So that's something to be proud of.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of games over there too, and that had to be up there with all of them.
So, talk about your team and how they just persevered through all this.
Yeah, they did. It was obviously it was a great season. I mean, we didn't see a whole lot of adversity. Still, we were, I think, like 18-2 coming into the final regular season weekend.
Yeah.
So we were kind of on cruise control, which seems great, but it can come back to bite you later on. Because you don't see a lot of adversity. You don't have to adjust. You don't have to really look under the hood and examine things. And then all of a sudden, that last regular season weekend, we lost both games that weekend. We really didn't play well in our first round playoff game, and then we lost in the next round. We got bounced out of the NESCAC tournament in the semis. So we were all of a sudden kind of reeling at the end of the year, which is not the time to be doing that, obviously. So I have to give our guys a ton of credit for the way that they regrouped and showed a lot of mental strength to play so well in the NCAA tournament against some really amazing teams.
By the way, Hamilton was on spring break, so a lot of the students were away for Friday's game. I think one of the biggest accomplishments of all, and I'd like your take, is Friday. You got out to a big lead. All of a sudden, they came back and clearly had the momentum. But it takes a lot for a team to be able to, and I imagine this coaching plays a huge role, is you just got to, regroup. We've got this. And you did, and you won that game. That was a big win right there.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, you're exactly right. Like we went into the third period up 4-1. We were in complete control, and then that team was, very deadly offensively. And then, in the snap of the fingers, it was 4-3, and we were really hanging on. So we had to batten down the hatches and just get out of the period, and we found a way to do that.
Well, I got to say, we loved this ride. I loved this ride. It was great to be a fan of Hamilton and to watch what you guys accomplished. And no one ever thought you were going to be able to knock them off. They were 43-0 coming into the game or something like that. So, huge.
Yeah, you're right.
Just huge. And I can't imagine what it's going to be like on campus today.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but I'm looking forward to going up there. The players were hoping the president was going to cancel classes. He was at the game, but I haven't seen official word of that, so I think they're going to have to go today.
All right. Well, Rob Haberbush, national champion, head coach of Hamilton College, thank you so much for calling in this morning.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Bill, and thank you for coming to the game and supporting and promoting it so much for us.
All right. We really appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You do the same, Coach. Enjoy this. How about that?
Rob Haberbush, that's awesome for Hamilton.
It really, really is. And great grab there, Davey. Thank you so much. Listen, we got a break. We have news coming up top of the hour. It's Monday morning, Easter week, WIBX.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 Utica. From the WB Tate Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Lots of options for Iran. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
We are negotiating with them directly and indirectly.
President Trump says he thinks there will be a deal soon with Iran to end the U.S.-Israel military operation there, but there are alternatives, he says, like seizing Iran's Karg Island oil refinery. He tells reporters on Air Force One more oil has been allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz.
They gave us, I think out of a sign of respect, 20 boats of oil, big boats of oil. going through the Hormuz Strait.
And the president, meantime, also appears to be easing up on an oil blockade to Cuba, saying he's okay with a Russian tanker getting through.
Moscow's Ministry of Transport says a Russian tanker carrying 100,000 tons of crude oil has reached Cuban waters. The United States cut off Venezuelan oil exports to Cuba after ousting President Nicolas Maduro in January, exacerbating an energy crisis.
It's Fox's Jonathan Savage. An executive order signed by the president means airport TSA agents should start getting paychecks again today. We're told at least some already have. Long lines at some airports due to resignations and sickouts won't end right away, though. And Borders Czar Tom Homan says ICE agents may stick around to help.
We're going to continue an ICE presence there until the airports feel like they're in 100%, in a posture where they can do normal operations. So if less TS agents come back, that means we'll keep more ICE agents there.
Holman on CBS Face the Nation. Fighter jets scramble in Florida with President Trump there.
A private aircraft entered a no-fly zone near the president's location Sunday afternoon. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, also known as NORAD, dispatched F-16 fighter jets, and they had to fire off some flares to get the pilots' attention. NORAD says the flares burn out quickly and pose no danger to people on the ground.
It's Fox's Jill Nato. America's listening to Fox News.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250. Say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Police in Australia said they shot and killed a man suspected of killing 2 police officers and wounding a third in a forest region 7 months ago. The suspect, believed to be 56-year-old Desi Freeman, was fatally shot today at a remote location in Victoria, Australia. We're told heavily armed Special Operations Group tactical police were involved in a 3-hour-long standoff. Tesla faces new questions about how cars in self-driving mode handle poor conditions.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration looking into 9 crashes involving Teslas, where the self-driving software failed to quickly alert drivers to take control because Tesla's vehicle cameras weren't picking out road hazards like sun glare or fog. The increased regulatory scrutiny comes as Tesla rolls out its robotaxi service with no one behind the wheel in several U.S. cities this year, with a planned production launch of Tesla's no-wheel, no-pedal Cybercab to sell to customers next month. Tesla vehicles rely solely on cameras to spot problems in the road. Others supplement cameras with light radar or LiDAR. Jeff Manosso, Fox News.
Comedian Rob Schneider says, let's reinstate the military draft.
The former Saturday Night Live star, who has never served in the military himself, posting on X that the U.S. should bring back the draft, saying each and every American, both men and women, starting at the age of 18, should serve 2 years of military service. Schneider saying being a citizen of the U.S. gives us, quote, unparalleled freedoms, and those freedoms, he says, do not come without a cost. The United States has not had a draft since 1972. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt recently refused to rule out a military draft, saying President Trump, quote, wisely keeps his options on the table. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
Connecticut stuns Duke with a last-second three-pointer to advance to the NCAA men's basketball Final Four with Illinois, Arizona, and Michigan. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
Mostly cloudy skies, 42 degrees. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. This news update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Closing arguments expected today in the trial of former Mid-State Corrections Officer Jonah Levy. Testimony finished up on Friday after the medical examiner detailed the injuries inmate Messiah Nantwi suffered when he was beaten at the prison last year. Levy is accused of being involved in that assault, but is denying any wrongdoing. If convicted on the top charge, Levy faces 25 years to life in prison. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office charging an Oriskany Falls man following a domestic dispute. Deputies arrested Derek Streeter. He was taken into custody on charges of criminal obstruction of breathing and harassment. He was arraigned on the charges and later released on his own recognizance. Beginning this week, the Utica Police Department will partner with Flock Safety to pilot its Raven acoustic detection system for the purpose of detecting gunfire within the city of Utica. The department currently utilizes SoundThinking's Shot Spotter technology for the same purpose. Utica police officials say their data shows more than 80% of gunfire incidents in the city are not reported by the public. In those cases, officers respond solely because of the Shot Spotter alert. Those responses have led to arrests, the recovery of critical evidence, and the preservation of life. The pilot program with Flock Safety will be conducted at no cost to the city during the trial period. New York State DOT advising drivers of a planned lane reduction along Mohawk Street and Kavanaugh Road at the bridge over the Erie Canal in the town of Marcy. The lane reduction is expected to begin Monday, April 6th, and last approximately 5 weeks for bridge joint and concrete work, and that work will be done weather permitting. Also, Governor Kathy Hochul announcing $43 million for the new in a new funding investment for the region for the Micron Technology project. The money can be used for boosting housing, workforce development, job training, and economic growth. Micron building a chip fab plant at the White Pine Commerce Park in Clay. Ground for that facility was broken back in January. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:08. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Mild weather continuing to push back into central New York State, and as we push on through this Monday, not expecting much, if any, in the way of wet weather, but change in the forecast as soon as tonight when showers may return. Partial sun as we push through this morning, partly sunny this afternoon, low 60s. Tonight will drop to the upper 40s with a few showers. Tomorrow, showers, maybe some steady rain in the afternoon, maybe a thunderstorm, 65. Occasional rain and thunderstorms Wednesday, upper 50s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Cloudy skies, 42 degrees at 8:08. All right, in sports, I'm watching the highlights again as we just spoke with Coach Rob Haberbush.
When I called that the score, the winning goal in the overtime period, 3:15 remaining, would you call that was the perfect goal?
Yeah, it was good.
It was a really great shot and assist.
A bit of a breakaway. The Continentals get a 2-1 victory in overtime as they knock off previously unbeaten Hobart to win the Division III Men's Hockey National Championship. Congratulations to the head coach and all the players as well. NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament now down to the Final Four. And I've lost it here. Here we go. Number 1, Michigan crushing 6th seed Tennessee in the Midwest. And then a thrilling finish as second-ranked UConn stunned Duke at the buzzer. The Wolverines will tip off against West Region number 1 Arizona on Saturday. The Huskies get the South's number 3. That's Illinois. Again, just 4 teams left on the men's side. In the women's tournament, the first half of the Final Four is set. Number 1 overall seed UConn beats 6th seed Notre Dame to advance. Fellow number 1 UCLA advanced past number 3 Duke on Sunday. The action continues tonight. Top seeded Texas will play number 2 Michigan, and number 1 seed South Carolina battles 3 seed TCU. In the NFL, Jets head coach Aaron Glenn says he knows who his starting quarterback is going to be in 2026. It's Geno Smith. Smith was acquired by the Jets in a trade with the Raiders back in March. The Raiders still paying over $16 million of Smith's salary. Aaron Glenn saying there's no doubt in his mind that Geno Smith will be the starting quarterback. Baseball this weekend, the Mets missed a chance to sweep the Pirates as they lost 4-3 in 10 innings. The Yankees did sweep the Giants. They get back into action tonight when they visit the Seattle Mariners. Left-hander Ryan Weathers expected to start for the Yankees. I feel like I missed something else here. We already know this, but the press conference is coming up later today. GMAC, Jerry McNamara, will be officially introduced as the head coach of Syracuse basketball on the campus today. Of course, he's coming to Syracuse, the school he won a national championship with in 2003 after coaching 2 years at Siena University.
We have a lot to get to coming up here this hour. Later on in the hour, we'll speak with hockey legend, and he really is, Emmy Award-winning broadcaster for the Philadelphia Flyers, and formerly from here, still with ties here to the area, Jim Jackson we'll speak to later on in the hour. A lot of comments to get to as well coming right up at WIBX. River Hills Properties continues their investment in upstate New York, and they have offices all over. You know it's the no lockbox treatment that you get, and you know it's all about service, luxury service from the very beginning until the end. And the beauty of having the lockbox out of the equation is that if your house is being shown, you're not there, you won't be there. Your listing agent is to answer any questions. They hand out the book, which is up to 100 pages, depending on the size of the property, of everything there is to know about the property. Warranty information, when the furnace was put in, when the roof was done, all of the stuff that can help someone make a decision. They really take extra steps to help you sell your home. And it's a great plus for the potential buyer because you go in with an educated, with the education to be able to make an offer if it's something you'd like to do. Upstate, offices, Barneville, Little Falls, Utica, Copenhagen, Newport, coming soon to Rome. And, of course, if you're considering that snowbird world where this winter was just enough, you're not doing it anymore. You're going to do winters down there in Florida and your summers up here. You could downsize and pull all that off. They can help you from start to finish, and they have an entire team of agents down there, including some names that you might know, like Robin, down in Florida, Sarasota, Naples, Marco Island. It's River Hills South. So River Hills Properties, they have you covered. Nobody sells homes like River Hills.
Megan, quick question. If I hug a 2025 Kia Telluride, will it lower the interest rate even more?
No, James, but 0.9 APR for 60 months on 2025 Kia Tellurides is about as low as you can go.
0.9? That's not an interest rate. That's a rounding error.
Big 3-row SUV. Itsy bitsy teeny tiny financing.
So families get space, comfort, tech, and a payment that makes them smile?
Exactly.
I'm hugging one anyway.
So go cookie for Kia at Destination Kia of Utica. Puppies and babies not included.
Make that short drive to save.
0.9% APR with well-qualified credit through KMF. $1,667 per month per $1,000 financed. 720 plus FICO score in lieu of rebates. Offer expires 3/31/26.
Destination Kia.
Don't rely on a standard off-the-shelf security system. When it comes to protecting your home, there's a big difference between plug and play and a professionally designed system. At CML Security, security is personal. Their skilled technicians meet with you one-on-one, walk your property, and design a custom system built around your family's needs. From security cameras, intrusion systems, and smart home features, they can also add a level of fire protection to their intrusion systems. They install commercial-grade equipment and provide a warranty on systems that they install. Call CML Security at 315-866-5845 today to schedule your in-home consultation. That's 315-866-5845 or visit cmlsecurity.net. Based in Herkimer, they serve the central New York area. CML Security. Call 315-866-5845. Personalized protection your family can trust.
These are uncertain times. Ongoing geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and beyond continue to shake global markets, driving up energy costs and creating widespread volatility. Gold has responded as history shows it does, climbing to new highs as a proven safe haven against inflation and unrest. Silver follows strong, offering even more protection for diversified portfolios. Call True Gold Republic at 800-300-GOLD for your free guide on protecting your retirement. If you're 55 or older, approaching or enjoying retirement, and have significant savings, you understand why stability matters now more than ever. Paper assets can vanish in a crisis, but precious metals have endured for generations. True Gold Republic helps Americans like you protect what you've built with real gold and silver IRAs. Call 800-300-GOLD for your free wealth protection guide today. No obligation, just information. Consult your tax professional before investing. Call 800-300-4653. That's 800-300-GOLD.
Our Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and Representative John Mannion are standing up for radio listeners like us by supporting legislation to keep AM radio in cars. They know the value of local radio in times of emergency. Now it's time for Congress to finish the job and pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Learn more at dependonam.com. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Join us for Come to the Table, a truly special fundraising evening happening Friday, April 17th from 5:30 to 9 p.m. at the beautiful Harts Hill Inn. Experience stunning one-of-a-kind tablescapes designed by talented local artists, themed basket drawings, unique silent auction items, and a lively cocktail hour from 5:30 to 6:30. Enjoy exceptional food stations and desserts from Harts Hill Inn, all leading up to an exciting live auction hosted by MC Susan Nackley Mojave. For tickets and information, call 315-724-1718.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, host of Fox Across America. We're talking politics, pop culture, and comedy, minus all the rage and finger-pointing. It's real talk for real people who just want to laugh, think, maybe learn something along the way. So join the fun weekdays at noon right here on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, Central New York's home for talk that's smart, honest, and just the right amount of crazy. Fox Across America with your main man, Jimmy Fallon.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
My ears are now both completely plugged. Good stuff. So the headphones are a little loud. Normally my headphones are loud, but they're extra loud today.
Yeah,
the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. This might be a good opportunity because when you do their OMT, the osteopathic manipulation treatment, they go through and make sure everything in your body is flowing properly. That includes your sinuses, your ear ducts, whatever you have, your ear canal,
I guess.
And he'll go through a whole, Dr. Zielinski or Dr. Shemileski, they both do it. But they'll go through a whole thing where they're really manipulating your head and your face to make sure everything is draining properly. Because when it isn't, something like this happens. And you literally can't hear. And sometimes with the ear plugging thing, it can have a permanent, it can cause permanent damage. I know of people who've significantly lost their hearing because of this. So nonetheless, this might be a good time to get an extra OMT, osteopathic manipulation treatment. And it's not just your head, it's your entire body. If everything is flowing properly, you're ahead of the game. And it's a big deal. It is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, but they're accepting new patients. If you need a primary physician, the Falcon Clinic has you covered with the addition of Dr. Cheryl Mattern, who is getting patients in quickly. If you needed to make a switch, add a new family doctor, and get in quickly, they could do that for you with Dr. Mattern, as she's just started, along with Dr. Kosminski, Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Shemileski, all under one roof. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Call 315-507-4751. We saw, I don't know if you realize this, but in the UK, they have added and I believe it's Lorne Michaels. They've added Saturday Night Live UK. Are you familiar?
No.
So, and Tina Fey was the opening guest on over there. But it's a British version So the humor is a little bit different. A British version of, and they can swear. So it's a little, their TV's a little different. I think it's on Sky. But it is a British version of SNL. And I got to tell you, it's very funny. And if you watch SNL today, sometimes I'm watching and I'm like, I don't understand. I feel like the whole show, my wife is translating. Well, this is a big thing on TikTok. They do this. They do. So it's become so 22-year-old that I find it's hard to follow at times.
Sure. Okay.
Right? Whereas that is not the case with SNL London. They did a bit that was so funny, and it was about a company that made your life difficult online. So, and there was one where this guy's job was to make sure that you clicked on the wrong thing. So you go to click on something, and you hit it, especially on your phone, and all of a sudden you've got some gaming app that just popped up, and you're like, how did I get there? Now I'm trying to get back. But the funniest of all was the guy who was in charge of the X. You know what I'm talking about?
Twitter? Or
No.
the X?
Okay. On your phone. The guy who was in charge of the X. That's the little X you have to hit to get out of the ad that's currently playing, preventing you from seeing what you want to be able to see.
Right.
Right? Because they pop the ad up, and you spend all your time looking around the screen to find the X. How do I X out of this? And they purposely, so this guy's job was to purposely put the X in a different place every time.
Right.
So, and he said, one of the things we've had a lot of success with, I found the smaller you make the X, the less apt they are to find it. And he said, we've been able to get the X down to a teeny weeny, and it just is, to me, there is someone out there doing that to us. It is so annoying. Sometimes it gets so annoying, the story doesn't mean anything to me, I'm not even going to read it.
Yeah.
And I believe me, our stuff we have the same crap on our site.
Yeah, I know. It's
in studio is Gina Carcone. Gina, it's nice and tight on that. You literally have to be touching it. Do you agree with me on this? That X thing is such an annoying part of going on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's awful. You can't find anything. Do you have a website?
I do.
What is your website?
My website is ginasacm.com.
So explain what it is that you do. I think this is a really, really cool thing.
Yeah. So what I do is I have folks that reach out to me, and they have loved ones that have passed on. They're in the cemeteries.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll do is I'll go take a look at the plot, and I will recommend, services for them. They can get a stone cleaning. They can get flowers planted. We'll do a summer planting. We could do a fall planting. I also make wreaths and things for different occasions. So if you want, I just did Easter crosses. Before that, we had Christmas wreaths.
Nice.
We can do birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. You can call and order them. Those will go up a week before the event, and then they'll stay up for about a week or so after the event. And then we'll go back up and we'll remove them for you. So it's really, you call, and a lot of folks too, they may not know exactly in the cemetery where the grave is. They just know, hey, it's in Calvary or it's in St. Agnes. And I will take care of all that for you. I'll take pictures.
Almost map it out.
Yeah, I'll map it out for you. I'll send you the photos, so before and after. If some of my customers are older, so they don't necessarily have the whole email thing. I'll print the pictures out, and I can either mail them to you, or if you're local.
This is a big deal where I almost feel that we as the younger generation, I'm going to put myself in that if you don't mind. I feel like we're not as good as our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents were. It was important to always go to the gravesite, take care of it. But then I think as people get older or busy, or you're traveling, or maybe you're even out of town, maybe you don't live here anymore, but you want to make sure your gravesite, your mom's gravesite or whatever is taken care of. That enter you in this.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do have quite a bit of customers who they don't live here anymore and their family is here. So again, I will go out, I'll take care whatever services
Yeah.
they need. Again, stone cleaning, flower planting, wreaths, whatever they would like. I'll take the pictures. I'll get them sent out to them, and it's something that I will continue to do. So if I'm doing a flower planting, it's not just the initial photo. I will make sure in June, July, August, September, all the way through.
Wow.
I'm keeping in contact with you. If you have questions or if you want me to take a ride out and go look at, I will do that for you. It's not just a one and done and see ya.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is all year round.
And
I'm
it could
in
even
contact.
be, there are those situations where maybe the base has started to, after the winter, the base has shifted and maybe the stone is in danger of tipping over. Would you, obviously, you report that to the family?
Right. So anything like that, obviously if it's a small enough stone and we can adjust it,
Yeah.
we'll certainly do that. But
Right.
anything that's at risk of falling over or anything like that, yeah, we'll certainly reach out to the family and let them know, hey, this is going on. You need to either contact the cemetery or the memorial place. Yeah.
A couple things quick. Utica Councilman Joe Beatrice just sent me a message, several photos. I think you took care of a headstone for a family member of his?
Yes, it's his mom's, yeah.
Yes, and it's very well done. It seems to be Easter themed. You've got some eggs, a cross. It's very colorful. Yeah. But Joe says she is the best. I want to mention here as well, you talk about the older generation used to be better at this.
Yeah.
My mother's going to be frustrated with me for telling the story. Mom, I don't think you're old at all. But she goes and maintains the headstones of both of her parents who have passed, my grandparents, of course. And a couple years ago, she was, digging flowers or cleaning up or whatever, and she knelt down and did something to her hip. And ultimately, it was like 2 years she was going through this pain. She had to have surgery on it. So I guess that's another point of consideration if you're
Sometimes
elderly.
you get older and you can't do it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
But you
this is a
still
great
want to go
service you
visit.
offer.
You want to go
Right.
visit and to go and have everything all decorated
Yeah,
and taken
absolutely.
care of. And I'm assuming you have to follow certain rules each cemetery has.
Yeah, every cemetery is different as far as like how far out they'll allow you to plant. Most
Artificial flowers,
right?
real
Most
flowers.
of the cemeteries say no artificial, even though folks are still
Yeah,
putting them.
yeah.
But they all say that time frames. Some of them lock up in the winter, and you can't get back into them until like May. So yeah, they they tend to vary a little bit.
How did you come up with this idea?
So, I've just, like he was saying, I've always gone to the cemetery. Even as a kid, I've gone with other family members. And so really it just is something they've always done.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, especially during COVID when really there was, what else could you do? I spent a lot more time, taking care of family members' plots. And I said, I'm doing this. Why don't I'm going to put this out there and see what happens. I'll be happy if I get 10 people that I don't know. At this point, I take care of over 250 plots.
Wow.
I have about 75 to 100 customers.
Did you see this anywhere else in the country?
No.
So this is your idea.
I mean, I know there's other people that do it. I don't
Yeah.
know that they do it to the extent as far as I think they just kind of go and plant and that's it.
Right.
I try to keep it a full service and I try to keep it a year-round thing so that you can get anything you want.
How do you advertise it? Do you go through the cemeteries or?
A lot of it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
I go in businesses and leave my business cards. I go to the funeral homes, so they've all sent me clients.
That's a good idea.
I've gone to the the memorials where they make the headstones. I've introduced myself.
Yeah.
They've sent me customers. So online, I post a lot online.
I have to tell you that we have a personal situation where someone is quite far away, and there's just no way we could take care of that. Obviously, you aren't going to travel to Niagara Falls, but a service like this would open that door to have it. Have the gravesite taken care of.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had folks call me from Rochester, Buffalo, Binghamton, all over.
People who have left here.
And it's they want me to travel to out there. And unfortunately, because it's just me, my parents help me when they can.
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
Because it's just me, I can't dedicate a whole day to travel right now.
How much does it cost?
Well, so it all depends on the stone size and what services you're looking for.
Yeah.
So your average stone, with a cleaning and you want a summer planting, it's probably going to start around $200.
Okay.
And that's going to take care of, your stone cleaning up all around the stone, digging, planting, and maintaining it through the season for you.
Through the season, wow. And there is that element also of finding it. If you're...
And finding it, yeah.
We ran into that where there had been a lot of snow, and luckily I had taken a photo, and I'm thinking, let's make sure there's a landmark so that I can. And we were able to find it in 2 feet of snow, but without that, we never would have.
Yeah.
We never. So you create like a map, basically.
Yeah, I mean, some of the cemeteries, if they're through the Syracuse Diocese, they will be cataloged. So we have about 3 or 4 in this area that are Syracuse Diocese. You can go on their website; it'll tell you the section, the row, everything.
Not everyone
which
is like
simple.
that, though. Yeah.
But a lot of them don't have that, so I have to reach out to the cemetery office, and usually the superintendent will meet me and he'll show me wherever the plot is in the cemetery.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
One more. Joe Joseph saying Gina does a wonderful job. She takes care of my family plot. I highly recommend her.
Thanks, Joe.
That's awesome, though, that this is because there's so many people as they get older.
Yeah.
They travel away and there's no one to take care of it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guilt with that. People you feel really bad because you want to be there, but you can only be there so often.
Right.
How do people get in touch with you?
So they can reach out to me via my website, which is jinasacm.com. They can give me a call at 315-717-7748, however they'd like.
What does ACM stand for? I'm sorry.
Affordable Cemetery Maintenance.
Okay.
I had to shorten it. It's too much
no,
to
that's
type.
good. That's good. That's good. I'm glad I asked the question.
Yeah.
I don't feel as stupid for asking. Okay, good stuff. And I'm assuming you're on Facebook and all on that stuff.
Yes.
So.
Yep. All those.
Okay.
Apps.
All right. Good stuff there, Gina. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Again, you can find her. Do they just search Gina Carcone as well?
Yeah, you can
would
do
pop
that
up
too.
on
Yep, I'll be
Facebook.
on Google, yep.
Okay. All right, Gina. Thank you. Nice job. I think it's a great idea. Kathy, I am so sorry. It's almost like a funeral for you as Michigan State ended their run in the NCAA tournament.
Well, they picked a bad time to play bad. That was one of their. That's the chance you take. They either play good or they don't.
Well, in UConn, it was UConn that knocked off Duke. So I kind of enjoyed that part of it. Although I am no UConn fan by any means.
They missed a lot of shots, but then they had some shots blocked. But I'm going to go on. There's a little bit of hockey left with Michigan State, and I look forward to the baseball. And I have to say, Jeff, are you still refereeing?
Yes.
Umpiring. Yeah.
You're going to be over to Bell Road. It's right around the corner from me.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So I'll have to come over.
You have a game today, right?
As a matter of fact, I have a
and
game
actually,
tonight,
the weather's
but not
going to
in
be
Rome.
the weather's going to be nice today. So at least.
Well, I'll have to come over and introduce myself. And I also, you were mentioning the cemeteries. I have to say that my in-laws are buried in St. Mary's in Rome. And we went over the other day, and my father-in-law was in the Navy. Somebody had vandalized the grave, and they had taken the Navy plaque off. So I tell you, it's...
Yeah, that stuff happens, and that's terrible. How did you become a Michigan State fan?
Well, my mother graduated from Michigan State 80 years ago.
Wow.
So
That's wild.
the earliest I can remember Michigan State, I had a little miniature Michigan State flag when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
That's the earliest I can remember.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't go further, and there's always next year.
Next year, I
And
look
football.
forward to Coach Izzo.
Okay. All right,
Take
Kathy.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You have a good one. Can I keep it going? Because I don't want to make him wait. I've already made him wait several times. We are celebrating 100 years here at WIBX, and we've tried to bring in some people that played a big role in the broadcast here and on the radio station. Jim Jackson was one of those people, Jim then went over, I believe went over to WTLB, which is where I was over at that group, and was the voice of the Utica Devils. And he is on the line right now. So glad to have you. Jim, good morning.
How are you, Bill?
It has been, well, listen, how many times did we schedule this and I blew it because I was out sick?
Yes.
You didn't blow anything. You were sick, so obviously the most important thing is that you're feeling better. I don't know. I've lost count. Why count these things?
Well, we were going to do this last week, and I didn't want to even get into it because I didn't know. But I was starting to feel a little ill for a third time in the last 2 months, and I ended up coming down with RSV last week, and I was out most of the week. So I'm so glad we didn't book it last week, and we saved it for today.
Maybe it's just the thought of talking to me.
It might be. Well, I think I got some bad food at the commissary.
The old commissary. Yes.
Oh, so this story. I'll let you tell the story. Jim and a guy by the name of Dan Horde, they were assistant GMs for the Little Falls Mets when we were all working there back in the early 80s.
Yeah, that was 1983. I was a sophomore, between my sophomore and junior years. Dan and I were roommates in college. Dan's also, by the way, he's gone on with the broadcasting. He's kind of one of the top broadcasters in the state of Ohio. He does the Bengals and University of Cincinnati sports. But anyhow, so as part of an internship program or whatnot through Syracuse University, they set us up to be the co-assistant general managers of the Little Falls Mets. And who else to be our public address announcer but one Bill? How old were you then, Bill?
I was 17 years old.
Yeah,
17 or 18.
Still in high school, I believe.
I had just gotten out of high school. Yes.
Yeah, and there you were. You were our voice at the ballpark. And I remember many things, one of which was when the anthem didn't play one time, and you had to start singing the anthem. Do you remember that one?
I do remember that. I do remember that.
We had tape recording of the anthem, and you went to play it, and for some reason it did not play. And you responded very quickly and just started the song, and the whole crowd sang, and it was a nice event. But you're talking about the
that was one of my good moments.
You had many good moments.
But then there was the giveaway.
Yeah.
So and fans, if they won something, would have to go down to the snack shop, if you will.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you finish this one.
Well, you may remember this more clearly than I do. I mean, you bring it up whenever we we don't talk much. Obviously, we haven't talked in quite a few years, but you bring it up when you do email, and I'm like, boy, that really struck a tone with Bill. There's no doubt about it. But
well,
you would belt it out. Go down to the commissary to pick up your prize.
Well, I only belted it out once because you guys made sure that I would never do that again. But on top of that, it was every fan in the park was like, "Who is this kid? The commissary? What is he?" You
go down there to commissary.
That's right. Head to the commissary. They'll have your prize for you.
Commiserate at the commissary.
That's the commissary.
Commissary. You don't get a prize, but you get to commissary.
That's right.
But the best part is that you did so well after making that mistake. You rebounded so well. They wanted to congratulate you, so they got you some accommodations. That's what, instead of accommodation, they got you accommodations.
Yes.
Sorry. That was
so, Jim. You have just exceeded your. I always tell this story, and I hope I remember it correctly, and I hope you remember this as well. But you and I were working together. I was at Rock 107. You were calling the games. It was terrible when you thought they would not. The company that we worked for wouldn't allow you to do away games, so they had to sneak you out of town to do the Devils away games, right?
Well, the Devils obviously wanted me to do the game, so they were going to do whatever they did. The deal was the games were on WIBX for the first 3 years, and then the rights changed over, and the general manager of the station at WTB Rock 107, Bruce Sahijian, wanted me to come over to be a salesperson as well as to do the games. I really had no interest in sales, but obviously I wanted to do the games, so I made the move. I continued to do not only the Devils but also the Blue Sox baseball in the at nighttime. But in the day, I was a salesman selling Bill Keeler and Rock 107 and all the other programming. So that was the way it was set up. But Bruce was obviously more interested in me as a salesperson, I think. And so, I'd have to figure out ways to get on the road. But I never lied to Bruce. I mean, every day,
he knew.
In the morning, I dreaded sales, whereas I just look forward to the games at night.
It's such a difficult job unless you're made for sales.
It really is.
It's difficult. I remember I'm in the production room now. Every day, I loved that job because that's all I did was radio at the time. It would be wonderful if that's what it was like today. But we'd go into the production room after each show, and we'd just do crank calls and song parodies and think of something crazy we'd do the next day. And you came into the production room and said, listen, I just want to bounce something off you. I just seem to be going nowhere. I don't know that it's ever going to happen. I got a really great opportunity at National Grid, or Niagara Mohawk at the time. And I think your father-in-law, future father-in-law at the time, was there. And you were ready. You were almost ready to leave the sportscasting radio business when your break came just a few weeks after that, if I recall.
Yeah, well, here's the story. I mean, the rumors were that the Devils were leaving town. This was after year 6,
right,
1993. And there were rumblings, and this is the story I tell to, I coach broadcasters now, and I tell this story all the time to show you how fate plays into things. But we got eliminated that year in the playoffs. We're on the bus ride home to Utica, and the coach, Robbie Fatorik, who sat across me on the bus, was having all the players come up to go over what their workout regimen would be in the summer and all that. And he got done a little early, so he looked at me and waved me over, even though obviously I wasn't even working for him, but we were friends. He said, so what are you going to do? And I said, well, rumor has it, Robbie, that the Devils are maybe leaving. And he just gave me a nod, which told me for sure it was happening. Mm-hmm. And he said, so what are you going to do? And I said, well, I've sent tapes to the expansion teams that year in Florida and Anaheim, and if I hear of other openings, let me know. And he said, no. He said, send tapes everywhere, to all the teams. I said, those get thrown out. Now, this was not like it is now where you send an email with a link. You had to dub a tape and send a snail mail.
A package. You create a package and trying to make it look different so they'd actually open it. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, you know me, Bill. I fought Robbie out and saying, no way, those are a waste of time. Of course, the next morning where it was, I was in the studio at WTLB Rock 107, dubbing 22 audio tapes to send them to all the teams. And so I sent them out. I didn't hear anything, but that's probably about the time where I walked into your meeting, because I had to think, if I don't keep doing hockey, the Devils were leaving. They weren't taking anybody with them. I have to have a job, and it looked like I was going to get into some kind of sales job.
Yeah.
I don't know where my life would have gone if that had happened, but as it turned out, Anaheim called me about maybe a month later. I got the Ducks job, and I was negotiating with them and went to work for the Utica Bulldogs. I don't know if you remember them. But
I do.
There was going to be a team that was the replacement for the Devils for the short term.
Yeah.
And so I took a job there. I was going to do their games, making virtually no money, and but just to try to stretch it out a little bit. And I was in their offices on the phone with someone from the Ducks when the executive assistant came in and put down on my desk one of those pink slips saying, line 2, Mark Piazza, Philadelphia Flyers. And I'm like, what the heck did the Flyers want?
Wow.
And so I wrapped up my conversation with Ken Wilson from the Ducks, and I picked up Mark's on the line, and a dear friend of mine now, and he said, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm doing great. What can I do for you? I'm thinking maybe they want some kind of third affiliate or something.
Yeah.
I was not thinking broadcast at all. He said, we've had some changes in our broadcast team. Mike Emmerich's going to go to New Jersey. We're going to move Gene Hart back to TV, so our radio job's opening. We love your tape. That's a tape I never would have sent if it wasn't for that conversation on the bus.
That's
and
incredible.
That's what got me a job I've had for now 33 years. And, life works in such strange ways.
Yeah. And
they whisked me down for an interview and had the contract on the fax machine when I got back to Utica, and so obviously I took that job. But it's how it happened. But that conversation we had was probably right in the interim there. When I was not hearing from anybody, and you're thinking, there's a panic. What am I going to do? So it was going to be some kind of sales job, but as it turned out, I ended up in Philadelphia, and the rest is the same.
Well, I want you to know that whenever I speak to students, I tell this story too, because I feel like it is that we're all like that one sliver away from making the decision that completely changes your life, and then one sliver away from maybe that ultimate job. And just think about this: not only did you get the job, but it was the greatest job you ever could have gotten. It's where you are still today, and what you're...
Yeah, it's my dream. I tell everybody.
It's incredible.
I've absolutely, you were with me back with the Little Falls Mets days when it was just a dream, and then maybe when I was kind of trying to scramble for the dream when we worked together at Rock 107, But I will say this: my time at the station you're at now, although obviously things have changed in terms of formatting and so forth, but at the time we were so heavily into sports. It was such a great springboard. I mean, for 3 or 4 years, you were talking about how you did nothing but radio.
Yeah.
I did nothing but sports. We did sports talk, sports casts. We did local football. We did the Blue Sox. We did the Comets and the Devils. We did the Utica College Pioneers at the time under Larry Costello. I got so much experience in those years, met some great people. Danny Clinkscale, who became the best man at my wedding, and also worked there for years. Bruce Marcuson, who followed me, and Bob Papa actually worked briefly with us. He's the voice of the New York Giants now. He came up and was briefly there, but he liked the big city life, so went back to New York City and found his way to his dream job. There are different ways to get to your job, but that time at IBX was so. I mean, it's one of the huge reasons why I did get to live my dream, because I think the experience I got there and the people I met was just so helpful.
Yeah, I mean, it's and you know, you see it all the time. Kids want to get out of high school and go to college because guys, especially, not just guys, a lot of females today want to get into sportscasting. And I would say, you would know this better than me. It's it's one of the most competitive categories in radio to go into. So difficult.
It is. Yeah, it's competitive TV, radio, no matter what.
Yes.
And now everything's kind of morphing together, right, with social media. So it's just competitive. I will say this though: the kids today have so much more in a way of getting experience than we did. You know, back in our day, there were 3 local TV stations. There was no internet, and now you have social media, you have podcasts, you have so much more coverage of sports in terms of play-by-play. I mean, every college event pretty much is on TV somewhere on radio. So you have more available to you, but yes, there are so many more people who want to do it. When I chose to do it in high school, I got laughed at. You know, people were like, "Yeah, right, you're gonna make it a sportscast." But now, I mean, it's considered one of the normal. If you're a sports fan, that's almost like a natural more for you to try to become a sportscaster or a sports writer or in some way follow sports. So, it's a lot different now. But so back then, I would say less opportunity, less competition. Now more opportunity, but way more competition.
Well, and I the other thing that's great about sports, it's like doing a radio talk show versus playing music. Today, we're going through unfortunately, I don't want to use the word collapse. Let's call it a revolution in the broadcast industry, where everything is changing, and there's a great deal of uncertainty. However, when you have a product that is unique, like calling the Flyers, you're still at the top of your game. That's still highly sought after today. It's one of those categories in broadcasting that still thrives today.
It does. There is uncertainty though with regional sports networks, so there's uncertainty for us too. But there's always got to be somebody to call the game. So that job won't go away. Now the person doing it is eventually. I'm going to go away. But you hope that that day comes when you want it, not when somebody else wants it. But in this business, you just never know. I've seen some long-time announcers lose their jobs and really had nothing to do with their performance. It's just the way this business is right now, and it is very uncertain that way. But being the voice of the team, I mean, I've been lucky enough to be able to call some national games too. And everything's great. National is different. There's a different kind of thrill to that. Obviously, you're going to a huge audience and all that, and there's more money in that, obviously. But calling a team is just, the fans really relate to you. You become the messenger to them for how the team's playing, and sometimes the team's not playing well, they get mad at you.
Right.
You does, get shot sometimes, but the bottom line is it's just such a great gig, and I've been blessed to have it for 3, really, if you count the minor league days, 4 decades, and it's just been fun. And one other name from my IBX days that I cannot forget is the guy who basically hired me, is Tim Roy. Have you had Tim on yet to talk about this?
We have not. I've had him on a couple of times. We're still going to get him on. Tim is one of the great voices in sports broadcasting.
Yeah, and he's obviously had the thrill of being able to call the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry here over the last decade or so. So, and he was the sports director when I started there, and basically hired me. And I came up with the idea for a weekend sports talk show as opposed to music around the sporting events that they ran. And if he doesn't go for it, it doesn't ever happen. And then we all did it, and then we all had work to do. But it was just a great experience there. I kind of walked in basically off the street saying, "Hey, can I hang around for a little bit at the station?" They said, "Yeah, why not?" I knew Tim a little bit, and so I did nothing but get coffee for Randy Gorman, the news director.
Yeah.
And,
another great name,
copy.
Randy.
Yep. Ripped wire copy. Did nothing really big until then. Finally, they had somebody not show up for they had a Sunday Polish show. Maria Kowalski was the host, and they needed somebody to, in quotes, produce the show. In other words, run the board for the show.
Yeah.
And so I got to do that. That was my first real gig in commercial radio or television.
Wow.
And obviously it led eventually to me living my dream. So I never forget that Polish radio show either.
Speaking
to me, I couldn't understand a word she was saying. She points to me, I play the record or hit the cart, and that was producing back then.
Amazing how that communication, you knew what she was saying just by the just point. You know what to do. Speaking with Jim Jackson, and one of the things I have to say is you've not only accomplished being able to do what you love in your career, in your life, but you're like one of the most famous people in Philadelphia. I mean, you are the voice. You are, and you've become a legend, and I know you are, and you have to be so proud of that. Let me bring in a voice from your past. John, you were on with Jim Jackson.
Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
Doing well.
Remember those days on Jewett Place when you came to see me in the apartment?
Fun, yeah. I do. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How's family?
Family is good. Growing up, my son's coaching hockey now, and I don't know how I got involved in hockey. I just can't figure it out. And my daughter's a film editor, so they are adults now, and time flies. How about you?
All is excellent here, as Bill Keeler could certainly tell you. I show up on his show from time to time, but no hidden agenda here, Jimmy. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute and say hi and wish you all the best.
Well, I appreciate that, John. I said Randy Gorman earlier. You, of course, were right there after Randy and with Randy for a while, and then afterwards. And those were great days for me. That was when I could just do sports radio. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. Listen, I have a website. Just drop me a line through that, and let's stay in touch.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, John. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
John is also, Jim, become an author. He's got a series of Charlie Chan books, series that he has put out that's getting a lot of play. So,
not surprised. He's an immensely talented guy.
No doubt. Yeah.
He is one of those guys. Sometimes people go into things you say, I never saw him doing that. I could absolutely see John Swan being an author.
Yeah. Sure. Well, listen, and by the way, Jeff Manaski, who's here in studio, was one of the hosts that followed in your footsteps for Sports Watch.
Yeah, it was a thrill, and unfortunately, does not exist anymore.
Yeah.
But Jim, outstanding to hear from you, and glad you're doing so well.
What years were you doing it, Jeff?
Oh, it was more recently. Boy, I'd have to. Jeez, I should know this. Maybe. 12, 13, maybe 12 and 13 I did it.
Yeah.
Jim, unfortunately, this was the beginning of some of what we talked about here this morning, where I was the brand manager and was doing a morning show. Our sports guys left, and it was like, well, if somebody doesn't take it over, we're not going to have a show. So it was done for about, I only did it for a few months, but I love doing it. And it was the whole reason I got into broadcasting was sports talk radio.
And then they made the mistake of hiring me, and that just ruined everything. So
you're still on the air, so obviously that's
somehow.
I remember the thing about talk radio in a market besides Munich is it is great training, because there's going to be times where you're not getting a lot of calls, and you have to figure out how to make the show entertaining, and that was also great for the training process. But It's great in a market like that because you know the callers.
Yes,
you have the,
you do.
And then you get to Philadelphia. I did some talk radio here when I first came here, and then we've had unfortunately 3 work stoppages, lockouts in hockey since I've been down here. So you find jobs when the lockouts happen, and I've done some talk radio, sports talk during those as well, and. It's so much bigger down here. I don't know the callers. There's just so many of them. There's a couple that call all the time that maybe you know, but in Utica, I mean, I knew pretty much all the callers.
You do.
It was fun.
It gets to the point where when you don't hear from somebody, you're like, "Where's Bob from Herkimer? We haven't heard from him. I hope he's okay."
No
well,
doubt.
and then one last thing I want to bring up, and although this is a little bit different, I look back on those days when we were in Little Falls. And working with the Mets, I mean, it was did we win in '83 or was it 84, 85? Cubbage was Mike Cubbage was the manager. Yeah,
playoffs. Yeah, Mike Cubbage was the manager. Bill Runciman. Who I know Mike's passed away, and I think Bill has as well.
Oh boy,
he was the GM, and then Mike Cubbage was the manager who just recently passed. We made it to, I think, a playoff.
Yes.
But we did not win the whole thing.
And it could have been the year that the book was written and the rivalry with the Utica Blue Sox and the home run that wasn't a home run, or was it? And then
that was just before. That was when the Utica team was the Independents, right? They were independent team. Yeah. They were like the Darth Vader of the American League.
But I got to say that was such an amazing time to work in minor league baseball, which really minor league baseball has become a much bigger product today, and it wouldn't end up in a Little Falls like it did back then. That was really, we were at the end of an era right there, which was incredible.
Yeah, that ballpark, it was great. It was Americana basically.
Yeah.
And you could feel it, and it was fun. That was a great experience that summer. Is that what was the name of that establishment? I'll call it.
That was the Veterans Memorial Park.
Well, no. I know Veterans Memorial Park. There was an establishment, if you know what I'm saying.
The Renaissance.
Renaissance.
The Renaissance.
Yeah. Is Renaissance still around?
The Renaissance still exists. It is still there. Wow. Isn't that wild?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. It is wild. Next time I'm up there, I got to pop in. My son, by the way, is coaching in Utica.
I heard that. I heard the junior Comets, right?
Yes, the junior Comets. They have a big playoff game today, actually. I wish I could get up there.
Kidding. That is wild. So every once in a while, you're at the Odd. How about the transformation of the Odd?
I mean, well, two things, yeah. What Robert Esch has done with that complex is unbelievable. It's just, I remember when he was first thinking about it, we talked about it, I said, it's risky. When we were there, we didn't draw that well. We had 2,500 people or so. I mean, the Devils didn't give us a lot of great players, so I can understand that. But I said, it's a little risky. I would do it. I think the area loves hockey, but don't put a lot of your money into it. Well, he put his money into it, and it just took off.
Yeah.
I was at the very first game. He was literally painting billboards that when I got
I know.
And he's put his heart and soul into that. The second thing is my son. I went up for a game this year, and it was in the Adirondack Bank Center now. It's called. It had been in the Odd to me, and so I went and I sat in the seat where I used to go as a kid to watch the Mohawk Valley Comets back in the 70s. And I sat there and watched my son. I was like 5 rows behind him, watching my son coach. And I'm sitting there going, this is just too weird.
Yeah, that is.
It's like out of Lost. If you ever watched the series Lost,
it's
like Lost. There's been some kind of time warp here. I just can't put my arms around it, but it is amazing. I'm so proud of my son. And good luck to them as they're in their second round of the playoffs begin today.
All right, that's awesome. How about Hamilton College winning the National Division III National Championship last night?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, in Hamilton, when I was there, it was about the basketball, right? Cedric Oliver and some of the great players that went through there. But that's an amazing accomplissment.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a great hockey area up there.
It is.
I have to tell the people down here, down here, upstate New York to them is Buffalo.
Yes.
And I tell them there's a lot more in upstate New York than Buffalo.
Yeah,
it really is. It's
pretty big upstate.
It is a hockey hotbed.
Well, Jim, it is great catching up. I enjoyed working with you, and just I'm so happy that you've been able to fulfill your dreams and are doing what you're doing today. It's awesome.
I've been blessed, Bill. It's been great talking to you. All the best to you, and the best of health. And anytime you need me, let's
we'll do it again.
5 or 6 times. Yeah, take 5 or 6 times.
It will. We'll get it. All right. Thank you, man.
It was worth it, though. Everything's worth the wait.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Tain Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
A new, more reasonable regime in Iran. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Trump on Truth Social says there are serious discussions with that regime to end the U.S.-Israel military operation there. Fox Business correspondent Rich Edson at the White House.
President Trump says he's having very good negotiations with the Iranians. He says he will probably cut a deal with them, but he says it's possible he does not. With the U.S. boosting its troop presence in the region, the Speaker of Iran's parliament accused the president of negotiating while secretly planning a ground invasion. Now, there are more questions from Congress about that troop presence and whether the president plans on using them in a ground invasion. The president says he has options,
including, he says, seizing Iran's Karg Island oil refinery and destroying water and energy infrastructure. Spain says it's closed airspace to U.S. military planes involved in the Iran conflict, which Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has described as illegal, reckless, and unjust. Spain had already said the U.S. could not use jointly operated military bases for Iran operations. Fox confirms airport TSA agents are starting to be paid for the first time during what's now a 45-day-long partial government shutdown. Fox's Madison Scarpino at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport.
We've spoke with several TSA workers who tell us they are already seeing money in their accounts and finally some relief here in Atlanta after days of massive lines. Now, one TSA worker we spoke with says that they are grateful for all of this, but with hundreds quitting and thousands calling out, he's unsure how much the order will change things. But what is helping TSA are ICE agents. ICE was initially helping with managing lines, controlling crowds, but now a lot of them are checking people's IDs, helping out with getting their bags into the scanner before the TSA checkpoint. So those TSA workers who still are on the job can focus on specialty screening.
Those TSA agents are being paid with other Homeland Security funding. At least one telling Fox his paycheck was 30 hours short of what he's worked so far. America's listening to Fox News.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country